Bart Starr has taken over the offense this week, and he told us, quote unquote, we will establish a running game. You can depend upon that. But what about Ram coach Ray Malavasi? What do you have to say about all this?
You know, one thing about the Los Angeles Rams, they're the most difficult team to run on when you're supposed to run. If you try and run on first down or only on short yardage situations, they really play that well and very tough. I asked Ray Malavasi if they would be able to stop the Packer running game today.
Yes, I think so. I think we got an excellent chance of stopping their run. I think that's the first part of professional football, is to be able to stop the run on 1st and 10. If you can do that, make them come up with 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 9, I think then you make them play into your hands.
Okay.
And there is Bart Starr. And one thing about Ray Malavasi, John, that he has to be concerned about coming into this game is that they have yet to throw a touchdown pass, and they've suffered 7 interceptions.
Well, I think they feel that today is a good day to start. You know, they had that controversy in the preseason and early in the season where who's the quarterback? Is it Hayden, who's been their leader, or should it be Ferragamo? Of course, Hayden was hurt in the first regular season game, and now the quarterback is Vince Ferragamo.
And the Rams have won the toss. They've elected to receive. This is Drew Hill, who the first carry and the first kickoff of 1980 went 98 yards for a touchdown, and he brings it out this time to the 25. And Mark Lee makes the stop. Let's check now the starting lineups. And this offensive line, John Madden, is as good as any in the NFL.
One of the best, and the player that I really like on this team is number 78, the right tackle, Jackie Slater.
And there in the backfield, Elvis Peacock. He's starting at the halfback spot due to the injury to Wendell Tyler.
And he's having a little problem with his footing. He's slipping a lot.
Wide receivers, you see Denard starting today instead of Willie Miller. The quarterback is Vince Ferragamo. And he starts it off with Cullen Bryant. And Bryant's going to lose some yardage. Excellent reaction by Ezra Johnson. Johnson playing with an injured hand. We'll watch him very closely. But Ezra Johnson, just an outstanding rusher. 2 years ago, he had 20.5 sacks. Good pressure is also put on by linebacker Mike Douglas. So Ferragamo's team now backed up to the 20, where they're going to have a 2nd down and 14 yards to go.
Ezra Johnson will have his hands full today with Big Doug France.
The thing about the Rams is that they have the potential to be an explosive football team. But they have not been able to get on track, as evidenced by the passing game, but also their running game has not gone that well. Ferragamo on 2nd and 14. Pressure put on the screen to Bryant, and Bryant takes the tackle to 20, 25, 30, 35 for the 40, and Bryant with a great individual effort has a first down out to the 45-yard line. Mike Douglas eventually made the stop, and that is a 25-yard pickup.
Well, we'll see, this was a different type of screen, Gary. It's off a play pass. You see, they fake strong side, then Cullen Bryant comes back to the weak side. It was a misdirection screen, and that's what Detroit was successful with last week against the Green Bay Packers, misdirection.
Boy, you talk about missed tackles. Michael Hunt could have thrown him for a loss. He just couldn't hang on to Cullen Bryant.
He was there. He really wasn't fooled.
There's that secondary. Their safeties, Luke and Gray, have been playing together for 6 years. They call themselves the Hit Brothers. A first down. This is Elvis Peacock. And Peacock to the 49-yard line. That's Mike Butler, number 77, over to make the stop. Peacock is the man that just hasn't been able to get on track due to injuries. His first year, he broke his ankle. Last year, he came in the 11th week of the season, went down with another injury. But yet, they have great potential in that position with him playing there. 2nd down and 7 yards to go. Ferragamo has Denard along with Billy Waddy split out. This is Peacock again. Peacock inside the 45 to the 44, and that'll be a first down. Mike Douglas making the stop, and the Rams are very impressive in this first series.
They are, and I think that that's a good way to start is to hand the ball to Peacock. It's off a trap here, but on the inside running game where he doesn't have to make those cuts because he's been having trouble on the sweeping plays and off tackle making the cut. They're trying to change his shoes, but Hewitt Dixon, their backfield coach, told me that it's because he cuts off his inside foot.
From the 44, first down for the Rams. We're just underway in Anaheim Stadium. Ferragamo, lots of time to throw the ball. And he has the completion to the 40-yard line. That is Elvis Peacock coming out of the backfield. Peacock coming into this game had 3 catches, showing his versatility, the former University of Oklahoma standout in his 2nd year. And Ferragamo throwing that ball with authority.
I think the Rams show one thing is today they will throw on first down, and the Rams have never been that type of team before. You know, they've always been the type where you run when you're supposed to and you pass when you're supposed to, and I think that's a good indicator.
They have to be concerned about this slow start because San Francisco is on their way to winning 3 in a row. Here's Elvis Peacock, and Peacock to the 36-yard line. Michael Hunt, number 55, a man who didn't play in the preseason very much due to some headaches. They got him a new football helmet, and now he evidently has been able to play without that hindrance. Well, this is a tough game to play, let alone playing it with a headache.
I know it. You know, sometimes you play with a headache so much the headache starts to feel normal. Then that's when you're in trouble.
But as a coach, you never had one in your life, did you? A headache?
Well, the same thing with a coach. You coach with a constant headache. After a while, it starts to feel good.
Third down, a yard to go for the Rams. Everybody in tight on this play. You see Peacock in the backfield. Colin Bryant. And diving forward, he's able to pick it up. That is Peacock inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. Interesting thing about these two teams, John, and we could develop this as it goes on. They're playing on natural surface here. The Packers, of course, play on natural grass, both in Milwaukee and Green Bay.
And this is a great turf here. The Rams at their practice field have the same type of turf, and that was an interesting play on that last one. You know, they go 2 tight ends, but the second tight end is their rookie offensive tackle, Irv Pankey. And he lines up next to Doug France on the left side. That gives them a lot of beef over there, but they were short. I would suspect that they'll go for it. The fans want them to, and I'm sure that Coach Ray Malavasi wants them.
You don't listen to the fans, do you, as a coach?
No, only, you know, because if the fans want you to go for it, then you go for it, and you don't get it, you have to live with it. You know, they don't. They just order a hot dog, bring me another hot dog and a Coke, and boom.
They are going to go for it. As you surmised, it'll be 4th down, inches to go. You saw that final a while ago. Detroit's 3-0 now. The St. Louis Cardinals 0-3. Boy, the Lions, what a surprise they have been in the early going. Ferragamo to Peacock, and he has the first down to the 30-yard line. Good charge that time by the right side of that Ram offensive line.
And I'll tell you, the player that led that is number 78, Jackie Slater. On the right side, we see the tight end and Jackie blocking down there and giving the hole for the lead. See, Cullen Bryant came through first to just get anything that happened to be in there, and then of course Elvis Peacock was right behind him for the first down.
You have felt all along that Slater might be the most underrated player.
I think he's one of the most underrated, but I also think he's one of the best tackles in the National Football League.
What a job he did in the Super Bowl. First down, inside the 30. Ferragamo on first down, wanting to throw, up to Peacock, and he is held it and really knocked down that time by John Anderson. Anderson, the third-year man from Michigan, who's a very steady performer for this Packer team. His biggest problem has been an arm difficulty. He's broken the same arm twice. We have a score here. Cleveland getting on the winning side of the ledger. Chiefs still haven't won this year.
Oh, and they were thinking big things in Kansas City this year. And, of course, they're getting off to a slow start.
There is Bart. As we mentioned in the top of the show, he said we will establish our running game. But, John, you got to get the football.
And then you have to run.
From the 33. Second down now. 14 yards to go. Ferragamo wanting to throw again. His protection is outside. Billy Waddy, the very corner of the end zone, taking it in. Waddy with his first touchdown catch, and of course that's the first touchdown this year for the Rams. Via the pass as he got behind Estes Hood.
You know, it was real good pass protection. You see Vince Ferragamo has room to step up. Billy Waddy ran a corner pattern, and the thing that I was impressed with what he did is he really took the defender Estes Hood to the inside. He made Estes Hood think that it was a post, and then Estes Hood went to the inside. Billy Waddy went back to the outside. It was a great move.
That is the kind of offensive explosion you expect from the Rams, because Waddy is just one of those home run type receivers. Point after attempts, Frank Corral, Nolan Cromwell to hold, and Corral adds it. And the Los Angeles Rams have a 7-0 lead with 8:53 to go in this first quarter. That was a 76-yard drive and 10 plays that put the Rams on the board.
Sometimes, if you heard what people think.
Checking out the new guy.
Cute, but he's scratching his head. Could be dandruff.
Likes the hair.
No flakes, but that itch probably needs Head and Shoulders.
She's gonna say hi.
Even if no one tells you, your itch could be telling them you've got dandruff. But Head and Shoulders every time handles that itch, treats hair gently, so all people notice is healthy-looking hair.
Great hair. Hi.
Head and Shoulders. Because that little itch should be telling you something.
Some guys never learn. They're still taking it on the chin. Gotcha. Norelco offers the Norelco rotary razor. Not 1 or 2 blades, but 36 blades inside 3 adjustable floating heads and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave without a nick or cut. So say hello to the Norelco rotary razor and say goodbye to Gotcha.
It's 7-0. The Rams, who are looking for their first win, start this game off very impressively with that 76-yard drive. And well, this is a strange kick. What is this? Johnny Gray's going to pick it up to 25 to the 30-yard line. Gray making a good run out to the 42-yard line. That was by design, wasn't it, John?
No, I don't think so. You know, if we watch here, we see Corral is limping off the field. I think that just before he kicked the ball that something happened to his left leg.
He is hurt, John. You're exactly right. And he's the only kicker they have.
And we'll see it again. Right just before he hit the ball, his left leg pulled up. And he didn't mean to kick it that way.
Well, Diaz. Corral is the only guy in the National Football League that's trying to do both the punting and the place kicking. All the rest of the teams have 2 kickers.
What do you do for a reserve?
I don't know. Lynn Dickey off to Eddie Lee Ivory running from that halfback spot, and he makes it to the 44-yard line. I don't think I've ever seen a coach any more emphatic than Bart Starr was. Well, you can see Corral is in pain. Than Bart Starr was yesterday, John, when we visited with him about establishing his running game.
He said that he was going to do it, but I know one thing. I have a lot of respect for Bart Starr, but if you're going to establish anything against the Rams, I think it has to be mixture.
And right now they have a second down, 7 yards to go. A pickup of 3 by Eddie Lee Ivory. McCarron snaps the ball to Dickey, and here's Ivory again, and you can see it's not going to be easy to run against this forward wall. That was the safety, Nolan Cromwell, coming up. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. But one of the big stories is on the sideline for the Rams. Frank Corral, they're still looking him over. I saw Chester Markle do the same thing for Green Bay a couple of years ago on a kickoff. Hurt his leg, and it looks like that's the difficulty now. 3rd down and 9. That's James Lockton in motion from the shotgun. Dickey's in trouble. And Dickey, who was seriously injured in 1977 in a game with the Los Angeles Rams, is dumped in a hurry as Youngblood and Dreyer got there in a hurry.
They sure did, and that's one thing that's very difficult against the Rams is to pass on 3rd and long because they have a great pass rush. You see with Fred Dreyer coming from one side, Jack Youngblood, who's ready to play now, coming from the other side. They're tough to handle on true passing situations.
You know, Jack Youngblood can punt if Corral can't, but I'm not sure who's their place kicker. They may have to volunteer from the sideline. David Beverly now on 4th down. Leroy Urban back. He's going to let it go out of bounds. And the Rams will have the football at their own 22-yard line. 42-yard kick by Beverly. So the Rams with a 7-0 lead. They have blunted the Packers' first offensive opportunity.
Well, set for a comfortable evening?
I hope so.
Then you should be wearing comfortable slacks, like Hager Magic Stretch.
All right.
It's the Hager Expandomatic waistband and special stretch woven fabric of today's date crime.
Terrific.
They won't squeeze your budget either. In Hager Magic Stretch, you'll feel as good as you look.
What more could a man ask for?
Well...
Nice of you to pop in, my dear.
A world car is coming. The new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car, built in America with better ideas from around the world. The front-wheel drive Escort has the highest gas mileage label of any compact, foreign or domestic, even higher than the subcompact Rabbit, Accord, Corolla hatchback. yet Escort has more room inside. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
Next Saturday, go trackside to the World Team Speedway Championships and rinkside to the U.S. Roller Skating Championships. 4:30 Eastern next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
With John Madden, I'm Gary Bender. The Rams have the football in a 7-0 lead, but a big story is this man, Frank Corral, who hurt himself kicking off. You can see as he's trying to put some weight on that leg, it's his left leg, not the kicking leg.
No, it was the left leg, and it looked like it could be the left ankle.
Anyway, we're still speculating. We think either Jack Youngblood or Bob Lee would be the backup punter. Here comes Elvis Peacock out to the 31-yard line. I'll tell you, the Rams are just coming right at Green Bay. Johnny Gray with the tackle. There's a final, and this is really of importance because the Rams were talking about this game earlier today.
I was in the locker room, and that's all they were talking about is the 49ers. I went in, and they gave me the score. At that time, it was 24-0. So they are feeling the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, John, we worked a preseason game in August, and you told me the 49ers would be the surprise team in the NFC. You and Jimmy agreed. From the 31. Here's the pitch to Peacock. And Peacock to the 34-yard line. They'll bring up a first down. He just got across it by a yard or so. Estes Hood and Cincinnati has defeated Pittsburgh. The Steelers and Cincinnati, that was a seesaw affair.
That's a surprise. It was a great football game. But one thing Pittsburgh never does is lose to someone under 500. And this, I think, was the second time in 5 or 6 years.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Cincinnati played tough the first 2 weeks. And Forrest Gregg with his first win now in Cincinnati.
Would have been a shame had they lost a third tight one.
They lost to Tampa Bay and Miami at the very last of each of those games. First down, just short of the 35. Waddy in motion, Ferragamo. Again, throwing on first down. Passing pattern intended for Preston Denard. Denard out of New Mexico, a free agent who is a poet. In fact, he says he is poetry in motion.
I don't know about the poetry in motion, but I do like throwing on first down. They did it off play pass, which really held the Green Bay linebackers in there, and then Denard was able to run an in pattern with no underneath coverage.
Denard last year with 43 catches. He became a starter when Willie Miller went down with an injury. Second down 10 now, just short of the 35. 7-0. The Rams on top. Second time with the football. Elvis Peacock, all kinds of running room. That brings it out to the 40. Michael Hunt and Mike Douglas. And again, you can see there's a lot of white shirts being knocked down as that offensive line is firing out.
If we can see this again, if we can see Jackie Slater, number 78, the right tackle, and we do see him right there on Mike Butler. Butler lined up outside, and Jackie Slater drove into him, worked him, and hooked him so that Peacock could get outside.
Butler and Johnson with Charlie Johnson, the nose tackle, as the Packers this year going to that 3-4 defense. Third down, 4. Ferragamo with pressure from Butler. Waddy has it for a first down. There is a flag, though, at the 47-yard line. Ferragamo that time, John, showing some pretty good ad-libbing ability. Estes Hood defending on the pass.
He had to, and I think the reason he showed that ability is he saw it right when it happened. Mike Butler took an inside.
Defense, decline, first down.
That is
an inside move, right. Yeah, he took an inside move on Jackie Slater and beat him right on the line of scrimmage. But, of course, they can't have any contact after the first 5 yards, and that's the penalty that we have.
We understand that Bob Lee now, our producer David Fox indicating, would do the punting, and Jack Youngblood would do the place kicking. If Corral cannot play, the way they're moving the football, they may not have to punt. This football team is very impressive. First down at the 46-yard line. Cullen Bryant, Elvis Peacock, the running back. Ferragamo again on first down, wanting to throw. All kinds of time, and now he's getting out of the pocket to the 45-yard line. Coming over was Hunt to make the tackle, but John, that's just too much time running around in that backfield.
That is too much time, and I'll tell you where you have to give the credit on this one is to the Green Bay secondary, because Ferragamo has plenty of time to throw the ball. In fact, he may have too much time. He looks to the middle, he looks to the right, he runs to the right a little, goes back, tries to throw to the left, up to the middle again, and there was nothing open. That was great coverage.
And so it's going to bring up second down and 8 for this Los Angeles team. And here's the final. Boy, the Vikings scoring a lot of points in 2 of their 3 games. Chicago, they're now 1-2. They, of course, lost to these Packers in overtime in the first game of the season. Ferragamo back on 2nd and 8. Waddy trying to get loose, but he has the pickup very close to the first down at the 36-yard line. Ed O'Neill, the former Detroit Lion, over there to make the tackle. They may have to measure to see if Waddy has made the catch. When you have Waddy and Denard at those wide-out positions, John, there's just all kinds of havoc, especially when you're protecting Ferragamo like they are.
That's right, and that's a big thing. We talked about the coverage on that last play, but that pass protection is so much from the Ram offense. I would think somewhere that the Green Bay Packers are going to have to start sending a linebacker, maybe just one, but they're going to have to get a little more pressure. They can't let Ferragamo just sit back there and look over the field all day, because really there's no reason for him to run. He should do that every play.
Look at the stats on Ferragamo, and look at the stats on Waddy for that matter, but Ferragamo is 6 of 7 for 81 yards and a touchdown. Give you an idea how effective he has been. And so, just short of the first down, as you saw it, 3rd down coming up. They come in now with the tight end in the wing position. That's Walt Arnold, number 84. Ferragamo to Peacock. Peacock has the first down and then some. And Peacock is off to a very good start in this football game. First down, moving the ball to the 32-yard line.
You know, one thing that Elvis Peacock did on that run is he finished it off. You know, that's what I always wanted my backs to do, is they can all run, they can all get outside, they can follow their blockers, and they can do something. But right at the end, don't go down until you finish it off. You see how he got 1, 2, 3, 4 more steps.
And some of those good backs, John, not only can finish it off well, but they know when to quit, too, right?
Well, I think you have to know, because if you don't, there's a lot of fumbles caused in those situations.
First down, and again, Ferragamo throwing. This has been the story. This is Denard. Preston Denard with Johnny Gray trying to get back. That was a case of turning one way, then having to relocate the football.
It was the same pattern that Billy Waddy ran on the right side. It was a corner pattern. The Green Bay Packer corners are playing inside techniques. So what the Ram ends are doing is they're bringing them down, taking them inside like they're going to the post, and then cutting to the outside.
And that time, Ferragamo missing on only his 2nd pass thus far. 2 minutes, 43 seconds to go in this first quarter. The Rams with a 7-0 lead. They marched 76 yards earlier for a touchdown, and now on the move again. Ferragamo off to Peacock. Peacock inside the 30, 25. Close to another first down. Johnny Gray coming up, and Gray is making a handful of tackles, and that's not what Bart Starr wants. He doesn't want that safety making that many tackles. He needs some help up front.
Watch the block by number 32, Cullen Bryant here. He's the lead blocker. You see there, right there, as he knocked John Anderson to the outside. That's the big block on that play, because that allowed the cutback for Elvis Peacock.
Peacock now has 10 carries for 54 yards. Last year, he gained 224 yards. But again, as we said, he broke his ankle in game number 11, so he didn't have a full season. But they really like this man from Oklahoma. 3rd down is short yard. Inches and back to go. Again to Peacock. Nothing fancy about this, but this time it doesn't work. Good reaction by John Anderson, number 59. Out of Michigan, a Wisconsin native, played his high school football at Waukesha. But, John, they're not doing anything deceptive. That's kind of like the old Packer sweep just coming out of there.
They probably would have been better off had they been less deceptive. I think anytime you get 3rd and inches, you ought to take the ball and just run it right up the middle to one of your big backs. I don't like sweeping across the backfield.
You see the reaction from Bratkowski and Starr. That was a personal foul against Green Bay, and there's the final. Miami pulling that one out against Atlanta. We had them last week in New England. So impressive in that win. But that will give the Rams, obviously, the first down. Let's see who the personal foul is against.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, out of bounds, 46, defense, first down.
That's Steve Luke, who was running Peacock over the end line, and as an end result, 15-yard penalty is Dick Jorgensen, the referee for today's game. And at the 12-yard line, that's where they have it. There's Luke out of Ohio State. He, along with Johnny Gray, have started at those safety spots for 6 seasons. At secondary, they call themselves the SWAT team. This is Colin Bryant. He cuts to the 10, a gain of 2. Mike Douglas reacting to make the stop. Douglas is one of those football players that Bart Starr says when he is hot, he is really playing well, but he's had some inconsistency at that position.
Inconsistency means when he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he's cold. But, you know, that Cullen Bryant is so big and strong. He is really something that these linebackers, they don't enjoy taking him on, whether it's as a blocker or as a ball carrier.
John, he was actually a defensive player when he first came here. Did you ever switch anybody from that offense to defense?
We would have switched him.
Coming out of Colorado, and after 1 year, the defensive back moved to the running back department. This is a new man, Eddie Hill, who just checked in. We have a flag on the play. Eddie Hill, the backup running back from Memphis State. Second-round draft pick of a year ago. Let's see what this penalty's all about. We're going to have holding against Los Angeles, so that'll bring it back 10 yards. See if we can pick it up, John.
That's a great drive kill, and it's happening right inside, and I saw it right away. It's Rich Saul. You see what he did is he took his right arm, and he put it up to the outside. Of course, they can block, they can use their hands, but they can't.
Holding number 61. Offense.
You called it, Coach.
Still second down.
Well, he did it right now. He didn't wait until he got into the block. Right now, his first move was boom right up there, and he hooked the outside of Charles Johnson.
I don't know how you spot all these holding calls. When you were coaching, were you just watching that line all the time? You seem to see those before the referees out there.
I used to pay a lot of attention to the officials. They never paid any to me, but I always knew what they were doing.
It wasn't a fair exchange, huh? So the penalty now will make it second down. 20 yards to go. Back at the 20. Marigallo. He hits Waddy. Waddy drawing a crowd in a hurry from Estes Hood. And they're going to get back 5 of those yards inside the 15-yard line. Waddy was a running back at Colorado. He is really one of the fastest men in the National Football League, and they say he matured last year in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl.
He sure did, and when Billy Waddy was at Colorado, he was a running back. As you say, I thought that he could be a defensive back. Now that means that he's a great player, of course, and it also means I maybe don't know what I'm doing when I'm talking about college players.
Third down, 12. 22 seconds left in this first quarter. The Rams, they've had time of possession all this first quarter. Here's Ferragamo to Colin Bryant. Bryant to the 10-yard line, and good reaction that time by the Packers, in particular Hunt and Anderson, the 2 linebackers. And so it's going to bring up Frank Corral now. He's limping onto the field, and I mean limping.
He's limping. You know, for a soccer-style kicker, which Frank Corral is, the left foot is his plant foot, and that's as important as his kicking foot.
And Corral has just been very impressive as far as field goal kicking is concerned. Thus far, he's 3 of 3. That's the end of the first quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Tide's just right. That'll be a full moon. Hardly any wind. And the lowing brow's cold. Sure beats the office.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brow.
Sure hope the fish don't bother us.
Here's another Radio Shack major computer breakthrough. The amazing new TRS-80 Pocket Computer, only $249. Imagine a basic language computer that weighs just 6 ounces. Now carry TRS-80 power in your pocket while traveling, on the job, solve problems, process data, and store it in permanent memory for instant recall. The amazing TRS-80 Pocket Computer, only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
It's breathtaking, it's dazzling, it's unbelievable. It's special effects The Empire Strikes Back with host Mark Hamill Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Frank Corral ready to attempt a field goal as we start this second quarter of play. The Rams on top 7-0. Ray Malavasi will watch this very closely because Corral was very gimpy as he came on the field. He hurt himself on the kickoff. He's 3 of 3 and has kicked exceptionally well. You can see him warming up as he will be attempting a 29-yard field goal. I'll tell you, this first quarter's been all Los Angeles. They just haven't given up the football. As we start the second 15 minutes.
Again, we should watch Frank Corral's left foot on this kick, Harry.
Snap was not all that good, but Corral was able to nail it. And Frank Corral makes it a 10-0 lead. Well, he made that look easy. Just kind of a little chip shot that time. Look at him.
He didn't get much in it. As we watch him here, you see that left foot goes down, and it holds well. That's the most important foot.
When Ford started building a new generation of small cars, we called on the world. The incredible world of Ford.
Ford Motor Company, good morning. Mr. Howard.
Fort in Köln, guten Tag. Zentrale, Herr Jung.
Mr. Dobson, we have Italy on the line.
For over 50 years, Ford has been building small cars in Europe. Today, when America needs high-quality small cars, the incredible world of Ford is working to meet that need, building a new generation of cars with world-class technology right here in America.
If you could see tomorrow.
Tomorrow arrives October 3rd with the new Ford Escort and Mercury Lynx, competing with anything in their class from anywhere in the world.
Ford, that's incredible.
Next Saturday, the U.S. goes wheel to wheel with the world's best in the World Team Speedway Championships from Poland. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Well, Jack Youngblood will be kicking off due to the injury of Frank Corral. Look at that time of possession in that first quarter. That's unbelievable. 13:07 to 1:53. Kickoff by Mark Lee. Lee, the rookie from Washington, and he's dropped by Joe Harris at the 30-yard line. And so the Packers will have it. And in this first quarter, John, the Packers had only 3 plays from the line of scrimmage. Los Angeles 24. And the total yardage, as you look at Youngblood, I don't know that that was all that successful a kickoff. But as you look at the first quarter, the Rams had 123 yards in offense. Green Bay a -7.
Frank Corral was over there shaking Jack Youngblood. Thanks a lot. I didn't want to do that.
Gary Ellis, Eddie Lee Ivory. Ellis starting at fullback. We'll see Steve Atkins before the day is over at the fullback spot. Here is Ivory, and Ivory to the 30-yard line. They did not start Atkins at fullback because they didn't feel he had enough experience there. So they started Ellis, who was an earlier draft pick this year of the Los Angeles Rams. And so Atkins will, in fact, be at fullback later in this game. 30-yard line, about a half-yard pickup on that last play. Lofton, who's playing with a very sore ankle. Put to the bottom of the screen. Andre Thompson to the top. If you look at Jack Reynolds, that middle linebacker. On a second down. This is Ellis. And Ellis finds a little running room. Reggie Doss, 71, making the stop. And one thing the Rams are doing, John, is they're just playing a lot of people. They're alternating people up front. Reggie Doss, you'll see a lot of him for Fred Dreyer and also Jack Youngblood.
That's right. As we see this play again here, one thing, the Ram defensive line, who's ever playing, control the line of scrimmage very well on run downs. And if you're going to run against them, you have to run on passing downs. You need mixture.
You got to mix it up. Third down. 7 yards to go. Line of scrimmage to 33. That's Lofton in motion. 10-0. The Rams are Dickey's in trouble. Dickey's going to have to somehow try to get out of this. He does a good job of it. And the pass is intercepted. Picked off. That is Pat Thomas. And Thomas to the 20, to the 19-yard line. Pat Thomas with his first interception of the year.
We're talking about how tough the Rams are. Again, if we see here, when it's 3rd and long, they know you get in a shotgun, they're going to bring those guys. Look at Jack Youngblood here coming, Fred Dreyer from the outside, and they really put the pressure on, and they cover very well.
The Rams have excellent field position when we come back.
How do folks feel when they service their cars with Napa brand parts?
Satisfied.
On top of the world.
Listen to it. Just listen to it. I did it. And no parts left over.
Lots of Napa brand parts are better than a car's original parts. And using quality parts produces results that make folks feel great. When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
Television should be more than an electronic tranquilizer. At its best as an art form, television should touch you, involve you, move you. The art of television. Experience it at its best on the one television that is itself a work of art. The Emmy Award-winning Sony Trinitron. Sony, the one and only.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer.
Building inspector.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
I didn't believe you two could build your own house.
Yeah, well, don't look. It's not finished.
Well, I guess we'll just take our low and brow and go home. Well, maybe one quick look around.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brow.
What are you going to do when you finish this place? Just what I'm doing right now.
Art Starr looking on. His team has just suffered an interception after Lynn Dickey scrambling after a mishandled snap. There's Ferragamo, 8 of 10, as he has the football at the Packer 20-yard line. And his team with a 10-0 lead, 13-18 to go until halftime. Back to work goes Elvis Peacock. And that's close to a first and goal as he's just outside the 10-yard line. Johnny Gray again on the stop along with Mike Douglas. We've been calling their name quite often in this first half of play.
And we see here that the Ram offensive line is really handling the line of scrimmage. On a sweep play, the defensive line has to get some penetration. They have to get off and into the Ram backfield, which you're not doing on those sweeps.
John, you said that the first thing you have to build is that offensive line.
I think that's where you start a team. If I had to start one place, it would be with an offensive line.
Second down, a short yard to go for first and goal. In motion comes Willie Miller. There's Bryant has the first and goal inside the 5 to the 4. Michael Hunt making the stop. And we'll mention that offensive line again as they have Saul, Smith, Slater, Hill, and France up front. And Houston, who won very impressively Monday night, beating the Colts. Okay, Ken Stabler, your old quarterback, really was super Monday night.
He was. He knows how to work a football team, and you give him an Earl Campbell and the receivers that he has, he'll work that thing.
Well, they can pull into a tie now with the Steelers. Steelers losing earlier to Cincinnati, 30-28. First and goal. Peacock, check that. It's in for the touchdown. Colin Bryant taking it in. What is this? That's a new dance step, isn't it?
I think that's a happy one. You know, it's in the dust down there, in the dirt. It looked like an old cowboy movie. The dirt was flying, and people were jumping around. All we needed was a couple of six-shooters. But again, watch this here in the control of the line of scrimmage, and then the cut back to the inside. I think Green Bay, with their three-man line, will have to start getting some inside linebacker penetration by dogging a linebacker.
I'll tell you, I don't know. We got to put a label on this one.
Look
I knew more about dancing. He's going to get hurt doing that, isn't he? Corral now for the point after attempt. When you score, I guess you're entitled to doing those kind of things. That point after makes it a 17-0 game. That drive, well, it wasn't all that long. Didn't take very long. And the Rams up by 17.
A world car is coming. The new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car, built in America with better ideas from around the world. The front-wheel drive Escort has the highest gas mileage label of any compact, foreign or domestic, even higher than the subcompact Rabbit, Accord, Corolla hatchback. Yet Escort has more room inside. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
The League of Women Voters invited President Carter to join the 1980 debates. He refused the invitation. Maybe it's because during his administration, inflation has gone as high as 18%. The number of Americans out of work has reached 8.5 million. Housing starts have hit a new low, while interest rates have hit a new high. Maybe he won't debate because he knows the real question is, can we afford 4 more years of this?
The time is now for Reagan. Reagan for president.
Well, you see the two-tone job here by Jack Youngblood. 7 straight years he's been the Pro Bowl, but not for his kicking.
That's an old kicking shit.
And again, Mark Lee with the football. He ran the other one back, and he does an excellent job this time with 45-50. Mark Lee, the last time, tried to go to the center of the field. This time he went to the sideline and found some running room. 34-yard return. Jack Youngblood, who kicked off, was over there to help make the stop.
Watch him. He doesn't get down there like the rest. Jack remembers how to kick, but he didn't remember how to cover as quickly. Although he gets over and makes the tackle, he knocks him out of bounds.
Well, he's the first guy that I've known that's kicking off that you would want to go over and make the tackle. Most of those guys, you tell them to get out of the way, right?
I don't know that Corral would have made that tackle with a good leg.
Eddie Lee Ivory, Gary Ellis, the running backs, the best field position now for the Packers at the 48 of Los Angeles on first down. Dickey's going to try to get out of there, and he gets to the 44-yard line, and Cody Jones over there to drop him. You know, Dickey's had a lot of problems with that leg. He had the rod removed in the offseason, and at times showing some pretty good mobility. They're going to mark the ball at the 46, bring up second down, and 8 yards to go. The thing about Dickey is that he has to be thinking about 77 and how he suffered that severe injury against Los Angeles. But more importantly, probably, he's just thinking about how tough this defense is for L.A. They've always been difficult. Andre Thompson, James Weston, that's Hoffman in motion, the tight end. Dickey, off to Eddie Lee Ivory, 35, 30, Ivory to the 25, the 20, he may go. Eddie Lee Ivory run for the touchdown. 46 yards that time by Eddie Lee Ivory. And so the Packers strike in a hurry. And Green Bay, who hasn't had the long plays, pulled one off that time.
I'll tell you, the Packers needed that. They put their tight end in motion, and they just had both backs going out and running short hooks. Ivory took off and just ran right by everyone and away from him. Now, I think that Green Bay started out on this drive very interesting in that they came out and they passed on first down. Then they came right back and passed again on second down, and they got a touchdown.
What you got to do, John, is dictate to that defense a little bit.
Right. Don't let them get in a pattern.
Chester Marcole, a point after attempt. Beverly to hold. Ivory, 46-yard scamper for the touchdown. The point after is good, and it's 17-7. And the Packers climbing back in. Let's take a look again at this touchdown play.
Here we see again that the pass rush wasn't that great because it wasn't on a real passing down, and Eddie Ivory made a super run.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Tide's just right. That'll be a full moon. Hardly any wind. And the low and brow's cold. Sure beats the office.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Low and Brow.
Sure hope the fish don't bother us.
A world car is coming, the new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car, built in America with better ideas from around the world. Four-wheel independent suspension, front-wheel drive, technically advanced engine, higher gas mileage ratings than Rabbit, Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
Monday, Lou Grant, the Emmy Award-winning series premieres with an all-new episode. Be sure and watch Ed Asner as Lou Grant, premiering Monday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain.
The Packers with their first touchdown pass of 1980, a 46-yarder from Dickey to Eddie Lee Ivory. The kickoff, Drew Hill back there, and it's going to go out of bounds. They'll have to kick it again. Be a 5-yard penalty. John, you pointed out on that last drive, the Packers starting to come out and open things up a little bit. It's hard to just run right at people until you start making that defense think a little bit.
Like we said earlier, the one thing that you can't do is get into a pattern against the Rams because there's no one that plays that type of defense better. When you're supposed to run, you have to pass. When you're supposed to pass, you have to run. But, you know, an interesting thing is really things went too well and maybe too easy for the Rams. They jumped out 17-0. You don't want a letdown, but they looked like they had one on that last series.
There's Chester Marcole talking it over with his troops as they will be kicking off now from the 30-yard line. Buffalo, the Saints are still looking for a win. Buffalo's going for their third in a row.
They're another surprise team.
Chuck Knox moving over to Buffalo, building that team through the draft. And I might add, they've scared some people in that AFC East. This time from the 30. Marcola to kick off again. 17-7. Rams to the lead. This one is not hit well at all. Very, very short. Bouncing around. Ivory picks it up, and Sully is ducked in a hurry. As that is Mike Jolly, who hit him at the 25-yard line. He's a former Saint who was picked up by the waiver route. And at the 25, the Rams will have it. And Mark Cole that time almost pulled a Frank Corral. He hit that ball very, very strangely.
That was his kicking foot. He looked like he stubbed his toe on the tee.
As I said, he hurt himself one year doing that and was out for most of the year. So now the Rams, with that 10-point lead, and with 10.5 minutes to go in this first half, have the ball at the 25. Willie Miller short out. Also out there is Drew Hill at the top of the screen. Peacock and Bryant, the running backs. This is Elvis Peacock. Nice cut by Peacock. To the 30, there's a flag on the play, and I can read your mind, Mr. Madden. He was carrying that football very strangely. You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't, especially when you're going through the line. You know, once you get out in the open, or before you get to the action, you can have it out. Once you get in where there's a whole bunch of those bodies around in there, you better tighten it up.
Let's look at Chester's kickoff a while ago and see if he just missed the ball or what.
I don't think so. I think he hit below the ball and got the
offense. Still first up.
And so the penalty, moving the ball back to the 17-yard line. Willie Miller, again the wide receiver, along with Drew Hill. First down. Ferragamo wanting to throw as he has on a lot of first downs. He hits his tight end. Check that. That's Elvis Peacock again. And Peacock is able to move the ball out to the 30-yard line. He's still going to be 5 yards short of that first down, but they get some of it back. And Peacock has really figured a lot in this offense. Not only from the running back standpoint, but receiving. He shows good hands.
And he looks like his footing is a lot better today than it has been. You know, that last penalty was against number 60, Dennis Hara. He had 2 holding penalties against Tampa, and then he just came into the game and had another one. I'm sure the coaches don't like that. That gives you a headache.
Well, he's been one of those holdouts, and they feel he wasn't in really good shape when he came back. There's Colin Bryant, and Bryant gets a yard, and that's going to bring up third down, and still 4 yards to go. You know, John, there's a lot of difference between being in shape and being in football shape.
That's right. They can do all the cardiovascular things. They can work out in shorts. They can run. But until you get those pads on and you start hitting someone or something, you're really not in football shape. And then I think the offensive line, Dennis Hara, it takes a little more time for an offensive line because he has to learn to work with and within a group.
3rd and 4, both wide receivers at the bottom of the screen. Ferragamo up to Bryant, and Bryant is not going to get the first down. That's going to bring up a 4th down. Good reaction that time by Charles Johnson, the nose tackle. Second-year man out of Maryland, their 3rd-round draft pick. He was a man that started last year 12 games, the last 9 in a row. And when Bruce Clark decided to go north to Canada, it was left in the lap of Charles Johnson to fill in that spot. Corral will attempt to punt. This will be interesting to watch with that leg entry as Ron Cassidy goes back for the Packers. John, you said many times you use different muscles when you punt as opposed to kicking, place kicking.
You do. You use,
Jim Gano with the block. Corral is hurt again. The Packers scrambling for the ball. They have it, and Corral was shaken up again. As Jim Gano came in, and Corral just took a lot of time getting ready that punt.
He took too much time, as we'll see it here again. It was a great move by the Green Bay Packers to come on a block in this situation. He just broke right up the middle between the guard and the tackle and came right into Corral's face. I don't know if he would have gotten that ball off had he been healthy, because Bueno really wasn't touched. He breaks through right up the middle, and that's where you block a kick. A punter is 15 yards back. He kicks it approximately 7.5 yards from the line of scrimmage. That's where you block it.
Now Packers now with a golden opportunity. Atkins is now coming to the backfield along with Eddie Lee Ivory. And that's Ivory. Ivory to the the 16-yard line. So Atkins playing in the fullback spot. Atkins now weighing about 220 pounds. Ivory, on the other hand, they've asked to lose some weight, and he's down to about 205. They felt that Eddie Lee lost a step or two since the knee surgery, and they felt by losing some weight he could gain that back. Atkins, the bigger man now, at the fullback spot. Second down. 4 yards to go, a gain of 6. The Packers climbing back into this football game. This is Atkins. Atkins will make it to the 8-yard line, and that'll be a 1st and goal. Nolan Cromwell, the free safety, up to make the stop. And you can see why Bart Starr is excited about Ivory and Atkins. They showed some very good open field running.
And we see how they call the plays there. Bart Starr is to the right of Zeke Bratkowski, who signals the plays in. Of course, they have 3 signals. One would be for the formation. The next signal would be the play that they call. The third would be the blocking combination.
1st and goal at the 8-yard line. The Packers trailing by 10. Dickey to Atkins. A little mix-up that time. I don't know whose fault it was, John, but Dickey and Atkins kind of trying to avoid each other on that handoff. Fred Dreyer made the stop. Let's watch the signal now by Zeke Bratkowski.
We just got the signal. See, and there were 3 separate signals. Again, the first one would tell them the formation, how you line up. The second one would be the play, run or pass. And then the third would be how they're going to block it.
John, on that last play, that shows you sometimes when you move a guy to a new spot like Atkins, they had a little mix-up in the backfield that time.
It does. You have to work together on offense.
They did pick up a couple of yards. 2nd and goal now at the 6-yard line. Dickey on the play action. Going back. Look out. Here's Johnny Johnson. And he's going to take it all the way. Johnny Johnson, their #1 draft pick from the University of Texas. That will be a 99-yard interception for the touchdown.
I'll tell you, he earned part of that big salary that he got this year on that play. What they tried to do is they had a play pass or a bootleg, and then Dickey came out and tried to throw back across the field. That's always a dangerous pass, but it's more dangerous here than any place else. See how he rolls here? Now he's trying to throw back across the field. You don't want the ball to stay in the air very long when you get close to your goal line, because the defenders have no reason to go back. Look at Johnson now. He's happy. There's no one there except some except some grass and a little dirt in the end zone.
Looked like he's in the back stretch of the 400 meters.
He hadn't learned to move. Oh, notice that in the end zone, he didn't spike it or dance or anything. He's too young. He hasn't learned to move.
That's his first one. There he is. That was a $1 million run, wasn't it? That's a new Ram record, a 99-yard interception. And wow, that does change the complexion, as the Packers look like they could climb within maybe even 3 points. Instead, now they're down 23-7. Terrell, point after. Terrell obviously playing in a lot of pain, but he's been able to kick the field goal and add a point after. And so all of a sudden, the Packers, who were moving for the touchdown, find themselves down 24-7.
I told my Allstate agent I can't afford life insurance. Well, John, don't put marbles in the penny wrappers. He told us about one of Allstate's affordable life plans. For a 28-year-old, $50,000 in decreasing term insurance for about $11 a month. These pennies could pay for a couple of months. Well, John...
Well, you put your pennies in my marble jar.
Ask about Allstate Life's affordable life plans. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Let her roll, Bob. During the last few years, our crews have been using something new to fix the streets in Oklahoma City. It's a fabric underliner from Phillips called Petromat that helps streets last longer. Where it's been put down here in the city, no repairs have been needed. Not one. Not in 4 years. That saves the city tax dollars. And I'm glad, because part of that tax money is mine.
Phillips Petroleum. Good things for cars and the people who drive them.
Well, we have a new man warming up. That's Bill Troop, number 10, as Dickey was shaken up on that last interception. The kickoff taken by Andre Thompson. Thompson out to the 33-yard line. John, let's go back on that last play and describe a little more about when you get close to the goal line, what your offense has to be thinking.
When you get close to the goal line, the defense isn't going to defend way back or through or into the end zone. They're playing tighter and closer. So when you roll or play pass, you want to throw to the side that you roll or play pass to. You can't leave the ball in the air that long because there's nothing that you have that will drive the defense deep or off.
And I'll tell you, that receiver was double covered on that play.
Yeah.
So from the 33, Bill Troop is the new quarterback. Dickey was shaken up on the last play, looked like his shoulder. I think his pride was hurting a little bit too. That had to hurt. Here's Eddie Lee Ivory trying to do something, getting nothing on the play. Boy, you talk about pivotal points in a football game. That 99-yarder has to really take the wind out of your sail.
That can turn it around. You know, you just had the feeling that Green Bay was starting to get something going as we see Lynn Dickey sitting there. He changed his number this year to number 12 from number 10, hoping for some good luck.
Guess who's wearing his number now?
Yeah.
The guy's in there, Bill Troop.
That's right.
So from the 33, no gain on that last play. This is Troop, 6'5", 220, a sixth-year man from South Carolina. Packers have some injuries at that quarterback spot. David Whitehurst in particular. Here's Troop back to throw, second and 10, has time. Broken up beautifully that time. Nolan Cromwell, who many people feel is the finest safety in the game today.
Well, we have a penalty also on this, Gary, but I think so. Again, we get, you know, Bill Troop has a tough job to do here because he comes in. He doesn't have great field position. He has to get something started. He didn't gain anything on the first down. The penalty is against the Packers for illegal motion. I would think that the Rams will turn that play down, that penalty down.
Illegal motion, offense. 2 men were in motion at the snap. Decline. Second down.
Boy, that was quite a play by Cromwell because Kaufman, the tight end, looked like he had position to make the catch. And now it brings up that third down. Atkins and Turdell Middleton now in the backfield for the Packers. There's Cromwell from Ransom, Kansas. He was a quarterback for the Jayhawks. In one game, gained 294 yards at that spot. Third down, 10 yards to go. The motion is locked in. From the shotgun, Troop. To the 42, and that's the third interception of this game. Rod Perry, who along with Pat Thomas 2 years ago had 8 interceptions each, having a big day here today.
We'll see it again here. They have motion, pretty good pass protection, but again, the Rams do a great job of coverage on passing downs.
A world car is coming, the new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car built in America with better ideas from around the world. The front-wheel drive Escort has the highest gas mileage label of any compact, foreign or domestic, even higher than the subcompact Rabbit, Accord, Corolla hatchback. Yet Escort has more room inside. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
Palmer, quarterback's got a better arm.
Right on. Better than a pitcher? Namath, you've been out of the game too long.
That's enough talk, fellas. Let's let Flash decide.
Flash?
Yeah.
Flash is an electronic game for all-around competitors.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Flash tests your timing, reflexes, memory, and accuracy because Flash is programmed for 5 challenging games. Flash keeps score for up to 5 players, and super shots mean super bonus points. Flash with 5 electronic games.
It's a great game. From Ideal.
Next Saturday, go for a spin with the nation's best at the United States Roller Skating Championships. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
One reason, John, that interceptions are thrown is because some pressure put up in the front wall.
This is where it all starts. Watch his takeoff on third down. Those guys had their foot back. They were like tracking him, ready to go. All takeoff, push. Just as he's throwing, he gets hit. That's what causes interception. That's where it starts.
So the interception by Perry sets it up at the Packer 42-yard line. 24-7, the Rams on top. Ferragamo again on first down. He's thrown almost every time on first down. And Arnold with his first catch. Inside the 10, it'll be a first and goal. Johnny Gray over there to make the stop. Arnold is a free agent rookie out of the University of New Mexico. That's a 33-yard pass completion.
I know we'll see this again, and we have great camera work here today, Gary, as we watch this play. But we see Arnold come across the field. It wasn't an in pattern. It was more of a cross pattern. Again, the linebackers were up in there tight because they've had trouble stopping the run, so they tightened up. Arnold was able to get in behind them and across the field.
The Rams don't have Terry Nelson today. He was put on the injured reserve list with a groin injury, so Arnold's seen some action along with Victor Hicks as a first-year man from Oklahoma. First and goal inside the 10-yard line, and it's handled. Trying to scramble and save it, and he's dropped. Ezra Johnson caught him from behind. They just missed that handoff.
Ezra Johnson came all the way across the field to catch him from behind, but I don't think that's too tough to catch Vince Ferragamo from behind. He's never been known as a runner, but he did miss the handoff on that one. Sometimes the back, when he has to get into and through the line quick, he'll start a half a second early, and he'll beat the ball there, and I think that happened on that last play.
Boy, he paid for that one, too. Ezra Johnson treated him rather unkindly, you might say, in that particular play. Second down goal at the 8-yard line. Ferragamo getting on to Elvis Peacock. He's inside the 5 to the 4. Michael Hunt cutting him down that time. I tell you, John, if you're a coach on the sideline and your team's moving, what you thought was for a touchdown, and all of a sudden it goes the other way 99 yards, what in the world can you say?
Well, you don't say much. You just know that one thing, when it goes 99 yards the other way, that you're going to get the ball back on the next play. So that's the one you have to think about.
Johnson, 99 yards. I remember a game in Green Bay when a guy by the name of Jack Tatum. Remember that fumble recovery? What did he go, 101 yards?
Good coaching. We put that defensive play in, especially for Green Bay.
I hear you. Third and goal at the 6-yard line. You are a genius, I can tell. Here's Ferragamo to Miller. And that's going to be pass interference against Mike McCoy. McCoy.
Just before that, he had an arm in there.
Willie Miller, a very courageous young man, a Vietnam veteran, 32 years old, only in his 5th year in the league. As Dick Jorgensen now indicating the pass interference. So first and goal now at the 1-yard line. Boy, the Rams, who had a tough time getting their offense on track last week, kind of making up for it now, aren't they? 24 points already with 3:50 to go in this first half. Ferragamo at the line of scrimmage. Elvis Peacock. Peacock has a block from Bryant, and that's all he needed. Elvis Peacock cutting off the block of Cullen Bryant.
It was a great job by the right side of the Ram offense. Again, down on the goal line, you can't allow any penetration at all. Now watch your right side. They all reach block. They knocked the whole Packer left side down. Peacock just went into the end zone. He got a little bump there after he was in there. That's good practice.
You know, Cullen Bryant, you don't hear a lot about him. You don't hear a lot about a Tim Wilson in Houston, but you need that fullback that can kick that guy out or get that lead block for you.
Usually when a team has a good running back and you're saying, why doesn't he gain a lot of yards? It's because the other back isn't a blocker like a Tim Wilson or a Cullen Bryant. Cullen Bryant's as big as some guards.
Mike Corral, despite the injury, continues to get the job done. He makes it 31-7. And the Los Angeles Rams, who I'm sure are very much aware of the fact that San Francisco won again today, starting to make their move. You know, this is a football team that had an unprecedented record last year of winning 7 straight division titles, and they don't want to give up that throne easily.
You know, the way they're looking at it is if they lost their first 2 regular season games, they just count those now as preseason games. They're starting out a little down, but I really feel in talent that the gap between the Los Angeles Rams and the rest of their team, the rest of the teams in their division, is so wide that they can afford to lose too early and still win the division and be in the playoff. And Ray Malavasi here, he feels the same way. You know, it's not a joke when you lose your first 2, but in practice yesterday and with talking to Ray, I never had the feeling that there was any panic here among this team.
Ray was the linebacker coach for a year as they have another interesting kickoff. Mike McCoy is going to bring it out. Check that. Thompson brings it out to the 37-yard line. Malavasi, very interested, the 2 of you visiting this week as we went out to the Rams camp. Linebacker coach when you were in Oakland. Kind of fun, I would guess, to see a guy now as the head man after having him as an assistant.
And doing very well. You know, Ray is a real coach's coach. He came up the hard way. He coached at all levels. He's been an assistant for many years. And I know when Ray was named the head coach of Los Angeles Rams, I was very happy for Ray.
Third year, they're 21-9 in those 3 years. And also very well in the playoffs. They've done a good job, 3-2. This is Steve Atkins running out of the fullback spot to the 36. Jim Youngblood over to make the stop. And Atkins again dropped. Well, the Packers in the preseason scored very few points, 14. They were scoreless in the last 2 games. They averaged only 63 yards rushing. Last week, 59. And again today, they're having a tough time running the football. Second down and 10. As a change made at wide receiver. Ron Cassidy is checked in there, along with James Lofton. Second down, virtually 10. Thus far, the Packers with 22 yards rushing. Here's Troop back. Here's Atkins, the intended receiver, thrown behind him as Andre Thompson now will bring in the play from the sideline. Larry Brooks put some good pressure on that time on Bill Troop. You know, it's interesting now. Earlier, they were signaling the plays into Lynn Dickey. Now that Troop is in there, they're alternating their wide receivers and sending plays in from the sideline. Troop, coming into this game, had thrown the ball 6 times, completing 2 for 34 yards. And he's going to be a busy man because we've been told that Lynn Dickey's injury was a back spasm, and that might be tough for him to come back. He'll be busy getting out of the way of the rush on this down. Third down, 9. And here it comes. Larry Brooks is there. Brooks, 4 straight Pro Bowls. This man had a nagging ankle injury a year ago, but he's back strong now. And watch this rush as we see it here again. Again, we go back to the 3rd and 10. Look at the stances here, how they all have their back foot back like sprinters. They're running a stunt, which means that the tackles and ends exchange lanes. Look at the pressure that they put on Bill Troop. He didn't have a chance to stand back and then step up and throw the ball. What you're saying, they're just teeing off right now. 3rd and long, and there's no one better at teeing off than these guys. Here's Beverly on 4th down, a beautiful kick. Leroy Irvin going back. He's the rookie from Kansas. At the 20-yard line, 25. And he makes it out to the 29. A super kick of 53 yards that time by Beverly, and a 9-yard return. George Cumbie, one of 2 first-round draft picks for the Packers out of Oklahoma, down there to make the stop. Cumbie is playing in this game with a knee that's still bothering him after the surgery. He's limping around. Bart admitted they probably had to bring him back too quickly, but they had such a shortage at linebackers due to the injury to Rich Wingo that he's back in there playing in spot situations. Now there's a player that they miss on defense. I saw Rich Wingo a number of times last year. I thought he was one of the best rookies in the National Football League. From the 28, in fact, it even was quoted in the Packer press book. Mike Gooman is in there along with Gerald Thomas. This is Gooman, the rookie from Penn State, has the corner, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 45. He got around John Anderson, the linebacker, and eventually Johnny Gray got over there. But this Gooman, who is a 6th-round draft pick, showed some pretty good speed and quickness on that play. That's what Bart Starr's thinking now. Who was that guy that just ran around me? Get that guy's number. Yeah, 44. And the Rams right now are really teeing it up and going both offensively and defensively. They look like the defending NFC champions that they are. From the 45 now. First down. Ferragamo. This is Gooman again. And Gooman to the 49. Gooman hadn't even carried the ball prior to today as we approach the 2-minute warning. Bruce Beakley, number 58, rookie free agent out of Oregon, making the stop. And so we have the 2-minute warning here at the new home of the Los Angeles Rams, about 50-some miles south of the Los Angeles Coliseum. The Rams with an impressive 31-7 lead.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
A world car is coming, the new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car, built in America with better ideas from around the world. Four-wheel independent suspension, front-wheel drive, technically advanced engine, higher gas mileage ratings than Rabbit, Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
The World Today. 60 Minutes covers it all. Be watching when the most popular program of last season begins a new season with 3 brand new stories. Sunday.
Second down now, 6 yards to go for the Rams, just short of the 50-yard line. Boy, this first half, the Rams have had 37 plays for 250 yards. Green Bay, 18 for 51. Ferragamo wants to throw. Good play action, freezing those linebackers. He hits his man, Preston denied, at the 35-yard line. See a lot of that play action. You can see why when you see a guy freeze the linebackers with a fake like he just did.
Especially against a 3-man line, because the 3-man line, those 4 linebackers, they're going to get in and they have to flow.
Hurry up offense as they have the 2-minute offense going, and that will not be complete. Ferragamo stopping the clock, trying to come up with the catch is Willie Miller. That will stop the clock now with 1:32. Of another final. Houston defeating Baltimore 21-16. Ferragamo now is 11 of 14, 151 yards. They've done it all in this first half. Ferragamo, according to Ray Malavasi, if he plays well enough during the rehabilitation of Pat Hayden, he could win that #1 job.
Which may end one of the numerous controversies they have here in Los Angeles.
Well, they've always had quarterback controversy here. This is Gerald Thomas, the rookie from San Jose State, inside the 30 to the 29. Bruce Beakley made the stop. John, you've always felt you should have only one #1 guy, right? Not keep the controversy going?
No, I always felt that you have to have one #1 guy. He's it. And then the guy that's behind him should be unhappy. Because if you ever have a situation where you have a #1 and the quarterback behind him is satisfied or happy that he's #2, then when you need him, he's not ready to play. So I never thought that where the second guy was complaining about not playing, wanted to be traded, I always thought that was a very healthy thing. That's not a negative thing.
Here's two friends, Zeke and Bart, talking things over, and they don't have a lot to be happy about. They're down 31-7. The Rams using a timeout, stopping the clock with 1:23, 3rd down and 4. Bart over there now visiting with Paul Kaufman, Bill Troop. Bart, one of the outstanding quarterbacks to ever play this game, and I would imagine he had to wince a little bit when he saw Dickey try to throw against the grain on that goal line situation.
I'm sure that's one thing that Bart wouldn't have ever done, because you know, in that situation, when you roll to that side again, you can either throw it to that side. The second option is just to run it and take it in. What does that play, guard?
I don't know what position. At the 29 now, 3rd down and 4. I am enjoying this sun-filled sky, and this is going to be a touchdown to Whittemore. It was deflected by McCoy, but Miller on the rebound, able to catch it. And that's a 29-yard touchdown pass.
How did you know that was going to be a touchdown?
You can see from up here.
I thought McCoy had a deflection down there. That was the first time that the Green Bay Packers blitzed. Now, they hadn't been getting any pressure at all on Vince Ferragamo, so they felt that they had to. Then they came with their linebackers, which put their secondary man-on-man, and that was very tough coverage for Mike McCoy.
Willie Miller, the young man who was hurt so much last year, had only 8 catches, coming up with that touchdown grab, only his 2nd catch of this year. Corral with a point after Cromwell holding, and Corral has been a very busy man today. Makes it a 38-7 game. And the Los Angeles Rams right now are making shambles of the Packers here in this first half.
Again, we'll see that last touchdown. We'll see that there is a blitz. You see, in the secondary is all by themselves here. See, man-to-man. The weak safety is coming up to take the halfback, so McCoy has no inside help. So he tried to cut the inside off, and then all Willie Miller did was go back to the outside. That was really pretty good defense by Mike McCoy, because he had the whole field covered.
but it wasn't quite good enough.
Well, yeah. Right.
What's that? Close counts only, and I won't name all the sports. Here's a few. Of course, you didn't know there were any other sports but football, right?
No, I didn't know anything about. You talk about tunnel vision, and a person was just one way. That was me. It's nice to get away.
But you're more relaxed now.
I've learned to relax.
I'm glad. Tastes better too, right? All right, ready to kick off now is our new kicker for the day, on kickoffs anyway, Jack Youngblood. There's a scoring drive. Ferragamo used that two-minute offense very effectively, didn't he? And Youngblood kicking off. This is Lee again, the third time he's gotten a kickoff. And again, doing a very good job. Gets out to the 45-yard line. He's going to just keep running to the sideline until they take it away from him. Carl Eckern over to make the tackle. They like this Lee kid, but he just came into camp, really injured a hamstring, and haven't had a chance to really play him.
He'll play a big part in the future of the Green Bay Packers. I saw Mark Lee in the East-West game last year, and I was very impressed with him. I thought he was one of the real good players in draft because he can run, he can cover, and he'll be a future Green Bay Packer corner.
He was a third pick on the second round. The stoic faces of Bart and Zeke, Cordell Middleton, and Steve Atkins in the backfield. 38-7. The Rams with the lead. A minute 8 left in the first half. He gets it off to Atkins. This guy can do a pretty good job when he gets in the open field. Carl Eckern making the stop at the 48-yard line. The Packers now, they're going to hurry it up. They're not going to huddle. You see the time ticking away here. What a beautiful day for football in Anaheim Stadium. The stadium holds around 69,000. Troop back to throw again on second down and 7. He hits Kaufman. That'll be a first down catch at the 42-yard line, and they're going to have to hurry, and they stop the clock as the Packers will use a timeout.
The Rams go to a three-man defensive line in these type of situations, and I never quite understood that, because the one thing that they have going, when you have to pass, they put those four guys in the spinner stance and come after you, and then when you get down to, the real passing situations, the end of the half, the end of the game, the prevent situation, they go to a three-man line, and really one of the most effective things in their pass coverage is their pass rush. That's where it all starts.
Malavasi, he's got to feel pretty good about this game thus far. They play the Giants in New York next week, and then they're going to have that showdown in 2 weeks against San Francisco, who we mentioned earlier is unbeaten in the first 3 weeks. I tell you, this NFC West is going to be something because Atlanta's playing better. Don't have to mention how much improved San Francisco is. And for that matter, the Central Division seems to have very, very good balance this year.
You can never count Minnesota out. When they have Tommy Kramer throwing to Rashad and Sammy White, they can score a bunch of points very quick.
You saw him the first week against Atlanta to prove that. First down, Kaufman goes in motion, the big tight end. Bill Troop. 34 seconds left in the first half. In the fourth interception of the game. This is Perry with his second of the game. And Perry may take it all away and will. Rod Perry will score untouched. And the Los Angeles Rams are just really devastating this Packer team. 83 yards earlier, a 99-yard interception. We have a Packer shaken up at the 47-yard line, and Los Angeles has exploded.
And we see the blitz here on this one. They lined up again in a three-man line and brought all four linebackers. Ray Malavasi does not like to let that quarterback have time. When I saw the three-man line the first time, he didn't get a rush. I knew on the sideline he was thinking, let's blitz him, let's go after him. He did. He brought four. They got the big interception and the touchdown.
Another story, John, is that the man shaken up is Bill Troop. So both quarterbacks now have been hurt. And I'm not real sure who they would go to if Troop or Dickey cannot play. And that's Troop that you're looking at now. Dickey was shaken up on the 99-yard interception, and now Troop likewise on this 83-yard return. As the Rams in this secondary have played as letter perfect as you possibly can.
They sure have. That's always been a Rams strength. And we know that David Whitehurst is also out with an injury. He's on injured reserve, so they just had the two. And I was always a big believer in always carrying three quarterbacks and hoping that I never needed number 2 or number 3.
Well, they've come to that situation. Now, Dickey, he's going to try to shake it off. You can see he's not feeling all that good. He's got the back spasms. Boy, I tell you, a back can affect you in any sport, golf, tennis, but imagine as a quarterback trying to set up and throw with any kind of back difficulty at all. This has been a first half the Packers will just as soon forget about. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong right now.
Right, and then the Rams feel that this is what they needed. They played 4 preseason games, 2 regular season games. They were in their 7th game this year, and they felt that they hadn't gotten started yet.
Here's Dickey now. His troop is going to have to be helped off the field. Dickey's going to take some snaps, as he'll have to come in because there's 21 seconds left in this first half after we kick the point after. The quarterbacks for Green Bay, John, have attempted 9 passes. They have 3 completions and 4 interceptions.
This has not been a real good day for Green Bay quarterbacks, and we're watching Lynn Dickey there trying to take snaps, and he's having trouble doing that right now.
You ever played quarterback?
No, I've never taken a snap from I coached the quarterbacks, though, and one of the funny things is when I used to demonstrate how to do it, that always got some chuckles.
With the quick feet that you have, and as nimble and as good as you are at that, I bet you really would have been a good quarterback. You missed your calling.
I used to rest my stomach on the center's back.
On a serious note, though, we just hope the troop is going to be all right.
You just hate to see this.
There's Dickey. You can tell he's in pain. Let's look ahead now to next week while we have a break in the action here. Chicago, who lost today, will play Pittsburgh, who also was beaten. Rams against the Giants. Giants have really been throwing the ball well. Minnesota, Detroit unbeaten. They're 3-0. New England, Miami. Now, I don't know what to think of that New England team, John. We saw them last week. Atlanta took them apart.
Right, and they're one of the teams that have trouble being good over a long period of time.
So that gives you an idea of some of the action. As it's going to be a very interesting season as we go into the 4th week. Green Bay will be returning home to Milwaukee County Stadium to play the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys a big game today against Tampa Bay. Philadelphia, who might be right now the best team in the NFC, against St. Louis, who's yet to win. And there's Atlanta against San Francisco. That'll be an interesting game, Atlanta, San Francisco.
I'll tell you one thing, the ball will be in the air a great part of the time.
You can see the applause as Bill Troop is being taken off the field. Troop out of South Carolina. Pressed into services today due to the injury to Lynn Dickey. You can see this beautiful stadium here. This is a gorgeous facility. The California Angels play their baseball here. They've put the upper deck up to extend the capacity to 69,000. A $2 million scoreboard here. They have a 35-year agreement. And here's a little mess up on the snap. Point after attempt. And that will not count, as they will not get a chance to kick it. And that's about the only thing the Rams haven't done right here in this first half of play with 21 seconds remaining. 44-7. Let's go back and see what happened here.
Frank Corral had a chance to run with that, but he said, no, there's no way I want it. Let it go down to the ground. They can have it. We have enough points.
We watched him in workout yesterday where they were faking that, and then they were optioning to Corral. But the way Corral's walking now, I don't believe that's going to be in their playbook.
They won't run the kicker option play today.
Corral, as we mentioned, the only guy in the National Football League that's tried to place kick and also punt. And I started to develop that with you earlier about the different muscles you do in fact use as one as opposed to the other.
That's why I never felt that they could do both, because in the punting motion you have your foot down, which shortens your Achilles, lengthens the front of your leg. The kicking muscle is just the opposite.
Guess who has his kickoff? Well, he did for a moment. Mark Lee. That would have been his 4th straight return. Andre Thompson instead has it, and he has it to the 24-yard line. So the Packers with 14 seconds will have the football, and we're going to watch very closely to see how Lynn Dickey can maneuver out there. They might use him at the shotgun more due to that injury.
No, I'm sure on this play all they'll do is try and finish the half and then try and get some treatment at the halftime and see if they can get them loosened up for the second half.
37 points in one quarter in today's game is the second most in Ram history. They scored 41 points in one quarter in 1952. 44-7. Rams on top. Should be the last play of the first half as Turdell Middleton across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Packers will let that clock wind down as the Los Angeles Rams exploding in this first half with 4 interceptions. A 99-yard return for a touchdown. An 83-yard return for a touchdown. Added with a 1-yard run by Peacock. A touchdown pass from Ferragamo to Miller and from Ferragamo to Bill Waddy. And that's a lot of offense. Packers will have to regroup as they head into the dressing room. As the Rams playing only their second game here at home in the regular season of play, their new home. And I think this crowd has to be very, very happy with what they've seen.
Well, they are, because they've really had everything, Gary. They had the interceptions for touchdowns. The defense has scored 2 touchdowns. The offense has moved the ball well, both running and passing. And I think the story in this first half really is complete domination in the lines by both lines of the Rams. The defensive line on playing the run and rushing the passer, the offensive line on pass protection and run blocking. I think that's the story, the complete domination of the lines today.
Using this surgical fiber optic camera lens, Prestone Labs is going to show you what weak, neglected antifreeze can do to your radiator after only 9,000 miles. Look at these passages: rust, corrosion. Continued neglect could clog them and overheat this radiator. Before this happens to you, put in Prestone 2. Prestone has a patented silicone silicate formula that forms a tough protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Prestone 2 and Prestone Super Flush. No wonder we're #1.
The value of your money is more important than ever these days, so get professional answers to financial questions like these.
Pop will be leaving the business in a few years to retire. Isn't now the time you should get professional advice on his retirement plans?
A good retirement program is important. For the advice you need, see your full-service bank. They've got the answers.
You know, this baby is really going to help me do a lot more work. I wonder, though, if I ought to buy it or lease it.
Let a professional help you decide what's best. See your full-service bank. They've got the answers.
My girls seem to have grown up faster than my income. Now Susan needs braces.
And Shelley's ready for college.
I guess we'll have to borrow some money. There are lots of ways.
Which is best for us?
Keep your checking and savings at a full-service bank and get professional answers to your financial questions. America's full-service banks. We've got the answers.
Tuesday, a CBS special movie presentation. Papillon.
Welcome to the penal colony of French Guiana, whose prisoners you are, and from which there is no escape.
I want that name, and I want it now.
Papillon.
That man risked his life to save mine.
Starring Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman as prisoners facing insurmountable odds in their flight to freedom. Papillon, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Well, a 37-point explosion in this second quarter by the Los Angeles Rams. They lead at 44-7. A game that, well, I guess if you look at a pivotal point, was that 99-yard interception by Johnny Johnson. 4 interceptions by the Rams.
Just when Green Bay started going, they had a touchdown, then they started driving for another one, and that interception really was a big turnaround, and it just shows how the game can change at any point.
John, let me put you in Green Bay's situation. You're going into the halftime. You're coaching a team that's down 44-7. What in the world can you say?
Well, what I would do is I always tried to start each half anew, like the score was 0-0, if we were ahead or if we were behind. Now, sometimes that's one of those things that's easy to say and very difficult to do. But you can't think in terms of having to have 35 points or something. You know, let's get out there, start like it's 0-0, get first things first.
And I guess you have to continue to stick with what you think would be successful. You know, he still wants to establish that running game, but yet you're down so much. Do you go away from that completely?
I would think you have to go away from that, because really the drive where they got their first touchdown, They threw on first down, then they came back and threw on second down, and I think that's the thing that they have to do. I know against the Rams that you can't play pattern football.
Well, the Rams, we knew they were a talented football team. You said it very well, the most talented team in the Western Division of the NFC. And what they've done today is they may have put all the pieces back together.
I think so. You know, they had that where they had to play last Thursday night, or a week ago Thursday night, it was difficult. They played on Sunday. They had to go down to Tampa and play on Thursday night. They didn't play well at all. But after the game was over, they were 0-2, but they had an advantage that they had the extra 3 or 4 days at that time. With all the players out of camp, you know, they had 4 players hold out, and then they came in and one left, and he came in and another left, and then the quarterback thing. And I think they have everything corralled now. They have everyone there, and they're ready to start the season today.
Okay, and as we said, there's been a lot of interesting scores throughout the NFL, and we're going to update them now. Let's look at them. Minnesota defeating Chicago. The Vikings are now 2-1. Chicago has 1 victory. They lost, of course, earlier to Green Bay.
Minnesota is, you know, that offense, I don't think you can ever count them out, because on any given Sunday, they can put 34 points on the board.
You called Tommy Kramer a 5-touchdown quarterback, which in your estimation means he can explode for a lot of points.
That's right, and there's some quarterbacks that can never do it.
Okay, let's move ahead now. St. Louis is still winless. Detroit, on the other hand, now is 3-0, and Gary Danielson and Billy Sims have been quite a combination.
You know, in that Central Division a year ago, Tampa went from last place to first place. It could very well happen again this year. Detroit going from last place to first place.
Checking other scores now. We have San Francisco unbeaten, 3-0, the real surprise of the NFC. The Jets still looking for a win.
They are, and San Francisco, of course, is undefeated. That's 64 points in one game. That's a lot of scoreboard activity.
San Francisco's been scoring a lot of points in every game as far as that goes. As evidenced here that Bill Walt's offense is really rolling, and they have to be worrying Los Angeles.
The Rams feel it.
Now Cleveland, who had lost a tough one Monday night, along with their opening day loss, getting on the winning side, defeating Kansas City, who's still winless in 3 trips.
And Kansas City was expecting much bigger things this year. They felt they were really improved. And, of course, they haven't gotten on track this year.
Cleveland's not scoring like they have in the past, but you can see there they did get 20 points. Miami, they had to come from behind to win that one. Atlanta led in this game 17-3 early. Miami winning in Atlanta 20-17. Big win for Don Shula, your good friend.
Don Shula has a lot of big wins, and I think that there's one coach that can win games. I have as much respect for Don Shula as any coach in the National Football League. I feel he's the best.
Atlanta playing tough in there after beating New England last week. Okay, we'll move ahead to the next score as we keep you updated. And as you can see, Pittsburgh losing to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, after 2 narrow misses, got one on the winning side today.
They sure did, and that was a shootout there. 58 points being scored in that game. And, you know, again, Pittsburgh did something today that they haven't done in a long time, and that's lose to a team that's under 500.
Happy for Forrest Gregg, able to pick up that first win, and that shows again how tough that Central Division will be as Houston now is pulled into a tie with Pittsburgh. Houston with that win, 21-16. 2 good wins. Cleveland Monday night and this one today.
They were able to come back after that first week's loss to Pittsburgh. You know, one of the things that they were worried about is they made such a big thing of opening against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That wasn't a championship game, but they were able to come back and play 2 fine games after that.
So the Oilers right even now with Pittsburgh. And Buffalo 3-0 now over New Orleans, 35-26 in Buffalo, and Chuck Knox, they're for real.
They really are. And one thing that you can't help but notice is the scoring. You know, a few years ago they put in the new rules to help the scoring, and I think we're seeing real evidence of it this year.
Tampa Bay leading Dallas, second quarter 17-14. Tampa Bay trying to remain unbeaten. Washington trailing Oakland 10-7. That's played in your old home ballpark, the Coliseum.
They did, and they played in the preseason. Washington beat the Raiders, and the Raiders think that they can change it around this week.
New England and Seattle 17-all. Now Seattle beat New England in the preseason.
Right, they did, and that's a shootout because in that game we see Steve Grogan and Jim Zorn playing in that game. There's 2 5-touchdown quarterbacks.
San Diego. Oh, boy, this is a surprise. I can't believe that. 24-6 over Denver after they just walloped Dallas last week.
One thing I think that San Diego now doesn't let that mile-high thing bother them. You know, that used to bother a lot of teams. I think maybe it bothered San Diego in the past, but now they say just go in and play.
Okay, our score here is 44-7. Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station.
He came to serve his country and went on trial for murder. Brad Davis and an all-star cast based on a true story, A Rumor of War, a special movie presentation Wednesday.
This is CBS.
It's halftime here at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. 44-7. The Los Angeles Rams leading the Green Bay Packers, and we're going to take a look at some of the highlights. A lot of fireworks. We'll start it out. This is going to be a 33-yard touchdown pass from Vince Ferragamo to Bill Waddy that put the Rams on the scoreboard.
And again, we'll see this. This is where he ran a corner pattern. He starts to the inside. The Green Bay Packer defenders were playing inside technique. He sold the fact he was going to the post, came back to the corner.
That was at the 8:53 mark of the first quarter. And now we come back as Cullen Bryant will make it 16-0.
And when he gets leaned over about that 3-yard line, he weighs 235 pounds and as strong as a bull. There's no way stopping that guy. And then he has a nice little dance after it's all over. Not
got to
bad.
label that thing, John.
Yeah.
Can you come up with something?
He probably has.
Now we come back to where the Packers started to make a move. This will be a 46-yard pass completion from Lynn Dickey to Eddie Lee Ivory.
And on that play, Lynn Dickey had a little time. Again, it was after a first down pass. He came back, threw on second down, hit Ivory inside about a 7-yard hook. Ivory just ran through and passed everyone.
That was a highlight. Then all of a sudden, the Packers are moving again. Now watch this. Dickey throws against the grain, and Johnny Johnson, the #1 draft pick from Texas, goes 99 yards the other direction.
Did you say that was $1 million run?
It is.
Well, it's a nice one. I don't know if it's worth $1 million, but I'm sure that helps a player like Johnny Johnson. It gives him the start, you know, and he needed that.
That made it 24-7. Then Elvis Peacock made it 30-7 with this 1-yard run off of a big block by Cullen Bryant.
He sure did, and that's the thing that Cullen Bryant does. He not only runs with authority, but he also blocks with authority.
Now watch this to Willie Miller. Mike McCoy will get a hand on the ball, but that's not enough.
That's the one where Mike McCoy had no help. It was a dogging or blitzing situation. He had Miller inside out, got his hand on the ball, touchdown.
That was a 29-yarder. Then Bill Troop coming in for the injured Lynn Dickey had this one picked off by Rod Perry, and Perry, not to be outdone by his teammate Johnny Johnson, took this one 83 yards, and the Rams ended up with 37 points in the second quarter, second highest in their history.
And we saw Bill Troop get blocked right there just before Perry broke away, and we hope that he's all right.
And so that's where it is right now. The Rams with a commanding 44-7 lead. The second half in a moment.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Just imagine if everyone drove a car like the Honda Civic DX, there'd be more room on the freeways. There'd be more space to park. And we'd probably all use less gas. The Honda Civic DX. It could make life a lot simpler.
Honda, we make it simple.
I'll tell you, I was a born soccer player. Did everything with my feet. Took out the rubbish with my feet, made the bed with my feet, drove my mum crazy. But I finally found something I enjoy doing with my hands, drinking light beer from Miller. Light has a third less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, but what really makes me happy is the taste. It's terrific. Now, my mum should be happy too. Look, Mum, no feet.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
You're doing okay, Melanie. That's it. Don't be afraid. That's it.
Hi, I'm Larry McCarron of the Green Bay Packers, and this is my wife, Becky. What a great place to bring kids.
Both Larry and I have worked with retarded children. We know how it feels to be a volunteer.
Come on, we'll show you. There you go. Here at the Curative Workshop and Rehabilitation Center, an agency United Way supports, these handicapped and retarded citizens are getting the therapy they need.
And job skills, so they can be self-sustaining. And these volunteers are making it happen.
But what they give is only a small fraction of what they get back in personal satisfaction.
But this guy's doing fantastic.
Believing in the United Way means you want to see everyone get a chance at life, regardless of handicap.
United Way works here because people care.
And thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League.
You look at the twin safeties back now for the Packers as we're ready to start the second half. Mike McCoy and Andre Thompson, and surprisingly, Frank Corral's going to kick off. He took 2 steps and hit it. He didn't even run up to the ball.
I was surprised they lined up that deep.
Here is Mike McCoy, and McCoy's fumbled the ball. And at the 32-yard line, a scramble. McCoy losing the football, but I believe Green Bay pounced on it. The Packers have the ball. Coming up with it was Jim Gano, doing a good job on the special teams. The Packers have it at the 32, trailing 44-7. Lynn Dickey will be the quarterback. Here's Gano. He's a young man who played his collegiate football at Tulane. 9th-round draft pick in 76. So Green Bay has a lot of ground to make up. Andre Thompson, James Lofton, who we haven't heard from in this football game, at the wide receivers. Eddie Lee Ivory, Steve Atkins. Atkins at the fullback spot. Eddie Lee Ivory trying to find some running room to the 35. That'll be a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7. Making the stop, Cody Jones and Johnny Johnson.
Again, coming out this second half, Gary, I think they just want to get started. They have to bring Lynn Dickey back in. He had the back spasms, and look at those statistics. That really tells the story. Yards rushing 110, passing 179, 289 total yards to 66 for the Packers.
This is Atkins, Steve Atkins, and Atkins out to the 41. That's close to a first down. Atkins and Ivory, the men who a year ago they had such high hopes for. Atkins, their 2nd-round pick. Ivory, their number 1 pick. Both of them fell by injuries. Ivory in the first game of last year. Changes, Lofton going out, Andre Thompson going out. They're going to get 2 tight ends in now on this 3rd down and less than a yard to go.
Now this is the situation where the Rams counter the 2 tight ends with 5 defensive linemen. They line up a defensive lineman, Youngblood on the left, Fred Dreyer on the right on the 2 tight ends.
John Thompson is the other tight end, 2nd-year man from Utah State. 3rd down, a short yard to go. The Packers would like to establish this offense right away, and they're giving to Atkins, and he has the first down to the 45. And that time, Packers did a very good job blocking that play.
They did. They controlled the line of scrimmage. And again, the one thing that you can't do is you can't allow any penetration. It looks like the Ram defense didn't get any penetration. They had a little bubble on that right side. They get some pretty good movement, and they were able to get in for the first down, as we see it here. See the movement they got on the man that lined up over the center.
Greg Cook did a good job, number 68. He's the man that Bart Starr is very, very high on, a 4th-year man from Arkansas. First down now at the 45 as you look at Lynn Dickey to Eddie Lee Ivory. Ivory across the 45 to the 47. Jim Youngblood made the stop. Ivory out of Georgia Tech. Fine running back, coming back from that knee operation. Top of the show, he feels that, he said that he likes that halfback spot as opposed to the fullback spot.
He does. It'll give him more of an opportunity to carry some plays that are designed to go to the tight end side. Usually the fullback gets plays to the weak or open side. The halfback gets him to the tight end side.
2nd down, 8 yards to go. That's Cochran on a change of direction motion. Dickey with time to throw. And, oh, what a shot. Lofton really hit that time. The collision, Cromwell coming over. Also an assist from Pat Thomas. And that's one of the few times they've tried to go to number 80.
That's right, and I think that he's an important part of the pass offense for the Green Bay Packers. He's had a bad ankle, and he really hasn't been able to run or practice. Bart said that he had a tough time in practice yesterday, and if they can't get the ball to James Lofton, then they're in for a long day.
Lofton, of course, played at Stanford. He's close to home, and both times that he's come out here on the West Coast to play football games, he's been hurt. Seeing action now. Third down, 8 yards to go. Dickey with time again. Now trying to run, and Dryer's got him. Freddie Dryer, a man who you recruited in college at San Diego State.
I recruited Fred 15 years ago.
You're not that old.
Yeah, well, he is. He's that old. But I told Fred, I said, he weighed the same thing. He weighed about 220 pounds, and that's what he weighs today. I said, Fred, you'll come to San Diego State, you'll play, we'll get you bigger, you'll be 270 pounds, you'll be an all-pro. He's an all-pro, but he still weighs 220 pounds.
Beverly to kick. Leroy Irvin back for the Rams. Fine kick. Beverly has punted extremely well in this game. And inside the 10, Irvin with the football. He has a little running room out to the 19 and knocked out of bounds. 49-yard kick that time by Beverly, who earlier in the game was able to hit one 53 yards in distance. And so the Rams, with that 44-7 lead, have the football for the second time in the second half.
American cars guzzle gas. American cars are all style and no substance. American cars don't last. To all that, American Motors says nuts. This American Motors Concorde and this Spirit are built to be more than just good looking. They're tough. Tougher than ever before. The only American cars with galvanized steel and 100% of the exterior body panels. That's right, 100%. And Concorde and Spirit are more fuel efficient than ever before. This Concorde actually gives you better mileage than Chevy Citation. Only the tough Americans give you Z-Bard factory rust protection and a full 5-year no rust through warranty.
Tough can be beautiful.
Plus the exclusive American Motors Buyer Protection Plan, still with the best economy car warranty coverage in the industry. Concorde and Spirit, for good-looking high-mileage cars, don't sell the tough Americans short. Concorde and Spirit, built to last, from American Motors.
He came to serve his country and went on trial for murder. Brad Davis in an all-star cast based on a true story, A Rumor of War, a special movie presentation Wednesday.
Mad Fred. We had a very animated conversation with him yesterday. He had some interesting thoughts about playing a long time, didn't he?
He really did. Playing a long time and playing when you're tired.
He thinks you play better when you're a little tired.
Right.
Ryan, Elvis Peacock, the running backs, after that punt was carried out to the 19-yard line. Colin Bryant, and he draws the crowd at the 23-yard line. I was curious about something just a little bit ago. On that play where Irvin fielded the punt inside the 10. What's the rule? What's the rule of thumb back there? When do you let those go?
The rule that we always had is we would line the punt returner up on the 10-yard line. If the ball went over his head, he let it go. If the ball came to him on the 10 or in front of him, he would return it.
Should he have let that one go?
He should have let that one go.
From the 24-yard line, second down now, 5 yards to go. In motion, Billy Waddy. Straight up the middle comes Colin Bryant. Bryant close to the 30-yard line and very close to a first down. And this is what the Rams did early in the football game. They just started coming right at this Green Bay team. As you saw the stats in that first half, they had 110 yards rushing. The big thing, 4 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns. From the 29, first down. Waddy split to the bottom of the screen. Denard to the top. Bryant and Elvis Peacock, the running backs. Ferragamo to Denard. Preston Denard hit immediately by McCoy. Good reaction that time by Mike McCoy out of Colorado, fifth-year man. And that's going to bring up a second down.
That's one thing that the Packers do have. Their two cornerbacks, Mike McCoy and Estes Hood, are very aggressive, and they don't play off. They don't get where they're afraid that they're going to get beat deep. They get up and play aggressive the whole game.
Brings up second down, 6 yards to go. 10 minutes remaining in this third quarter. 44-7 the Rams. Colin Bryant, Dennis Harrow with a big block to the 40. He pulls his way to the 45-yard line. Boy, Dennis Harrow threw a super block on Michael Hunt, and that gave the corner to Bryant, and he took over from there.
He pulled, he just looked like he was waiting. See, it's a little counter play. He He takes the counter to let Harry get up front. Once he sees that block, he just turned on. He looked like a different person. And now that's what you talk about in finishing off a run.
Boy, when you're 5'11", carry 236 pounds, I guess you can't finish a run off. It's like a fire plug out there.
And that's a strong 230 pounds.
Across the 45, a first down for the Rams. Ferragamo to Bryant again. Bryant trying to find a little crease, but nothing doing that time. Mike Douglas over there to make the stop. Also good pressure that time by Charles Johnson, number 99, the nose tackle.
Mike Douglas played that one. Mike Douglas played that one very well. You know, when they start a sweep here, as we see Charlie Johnson, the nose tackle, he gets penetration, so there's no cutback. The one thing, when the ball goes away, that the nose tackle has to do is not allow the cutback, which he did, and then Mike Douglas played on the outside very well.
Second down, virtually 10 yards to go. Ferragamo, excellent protection. Billy Waddy is wide open, but he's out of bounds. Waddy had beaten Estes Hood, but to catch that one, he had to be in the nickel bleachers. But again, a very excellent effort by Waddy, who shows his ability to get open on a play.
I was just saying how aggressive the Green Bay Packer corners played. Estes Hood was up there tight, and again, Billy Waddy ran right by him. There's one thing here that I really don't like is they don't have a border on the sidelines, and I think that could be from the far hash mark. Vince Ferragamo cannot see that sideline.
That's a good
As we look at the border there, usually they have the border between where the coach was standing and the sideline.
That's a border that's quite wide and painted white. Of course, they're still playing baseball here. Maybe they haven't been able to do it. This is Joel Thomas, a rookie from San Jose State. A little pass to the 50-yard line. Mike Douglas has been making a handful of tackles, and that will stop this Ram drive, bringing up fourth down. As Mark Lee now is going back for this punt. There is Thomas. Thomas had a good game against Tampa Bay, picking up 64 yards. He played at UCLA behind Wendell Tyler, then transferred to San Jose State.
He had a fine career at San Jose State. Then he put on a little weight in the offseason, and there was concern at the time he was drafted.
In fact, in that Senior Bowl, he weighed in at 244 pounds. Now
like a guard.
Corral to kick. 8.5 minutes left. Bad snap this time. Doug Smith, the man snapping the ball. Fine kick by Corral. Lee's going to let it hit. And so that will bring it out to the 20. That's a 51-yard kick by a man that's hobbling around on this football field like he's not going to make it back to the bench. But evidently it doesn't affect your punting, as evidenced by that one.
You know, I happen to tell my Allstate agent about how everything I have two of.
Hi, Dad.
Like 2 cars, he asked. Maybe Allstate's 2-car discount can save you money on insurance. I compared. Allstate saves me more. I can use the money.
Noah, dinner.
One wife. Compare. Allstate's multi-car discount may save you more money. You're in good hands with Allstate.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
You know, it's amazing how similar we are. We have the same last name.
And we both played baseball for the same team.
We even drank the same beer, light beer from Miller.
And we drink it for the same reason. Light has a third less calories than their regular beer.
And it's less filling.
But we drink it because it tastes so great.
Now, I know we're incredibly alike, but don't be confused. We are not identical twins.
I'm at least 2 inches taller than he is.
Make beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Well, Frank Corral, the 51-yard kick. He's got an injury, but he's not letting that bother him at all.
No, they love that because then they get to go to the training room and get treatment like the rest of the players.
They're welcomed in there, right, with an injury. So after that kick on the touchback, bringing it out to the 20, Lynn Dickey at quarterback gives off to Steve Atkins, and there's not going to be any gain on that play. In particular, Bob Brzezinski was over there. You know, the thing about this Los Angeles team that they keep stressing, John, is that they want to keep filtering in new faces, keep stockpiling the draft choices, have a nice mix of veterans and young people. Boy, this team really has that, doesn't it?
And they've done a great job. Don Klosterman, Jack Faulkner, they've done a great job of that because they know really what it takes. They're always looking for big, strong guys and speed.
No gain on that last play. We have an injury report on Bill Troop. We'll give that to you in just a moment. Paul Kaufman goes in motion from the 20-yard line. Dickey moving around pretty well, but he threw it outside. Nolan Cromwell, 5th interception of the day for the Rams. Cromwell inside to the 14-yard line. Eddie Lee Ivory made the stop. That'll give us time to tell you we have a report on Bill Troop. The x-rays taken of Troop looking at a neck injury were negative. He has been taken to the Green Bay dressing room for further observation.
We sure hope everything is all right there as we see this interception here. Again, usually when you have to start to scramble, that throws a pattern off, and you see a lot of interceptions in those situations.
The Toyota Celica Super is life in the fast lane that's almost beyond belief. But the Super is not the only way to join the fast crowd. There's a now classic sporty Celica GT Coupe and the GT Liftback. And for those who would like a sporty Celica for a little less money, there's the ST, the lowest price Celica. To find out which one's for you, drive a Celica. Then just trust your feelings. A Celica selection.
Well, set for a comfortable evening? I hope so. Then you should be wearing comfortable slacks, like Hager Magic Stretch.
All right.
It's the Hager Expandomatic waistband and special stretch woven fabric of today's day crime.
Terrific.
They won't squeeze your budget either. In Hager Magic Stretch, you'll feel as good as you look.
What more could a man ask for?
Well...
Nice of you to pop in, my dear.
Next Saturday, the U.S. goes wheel to wheel with the world's best in the World Team Speedway Championships from Poland. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
So after the 5th interception of the day for Los Angeles, they have the ball, and we have a baton twirler here putting on quite a show. There's Lynn Dickey. And a tough day for this young man from Kansas State. At the 15-yard line, Vince Ferragamo at the 7:28 mark of the 3rd quarter, trying to add to their advantage. Dickey with 3 interceptions today. Ferragamo back. Denied. Touchdown! Did he get it or not?
Yes,
he did. Boy, that was quite a move. Denard, it looked like Johnny wasn't going to hang on. I got to see this one again.
No, it did. It was a great move, though, before he caught the ball. And that's the 3rd time that they got that pattern for a touchdown. Again, it's a corner, and we'll see it up here. It's a corner pattern. He'll start to the inside, again, like he's going to the post, and then break to the outside. The Green Bay Packer corners, again, are playing an inside technique. But on that one, Mike McCoy overreacted to the corner, and the ball was thrown over his inside shoulder.
He almost did drop it, though. Did you see that? It got away from his body for a moment, and on the second effort, came away with it. That showed me such quick hands. Boy, that Denard, what a free agent find he has been for this Ram football team. 50-7 our score. Point after attempt by Terrell makes it 51-7. As Vince Ferragamo having a big day, as are the Los Angeles Rams. 5 interceptions in this game. The most that the Packers have had in one game was 8. That was back in 1948.
If you had driven along
the Canon NP80 puts you in touch with the age of micronics. An ingenious combination of microcomputer, optics, and electronics expertise. Extremely fast and reliable, the Canon NP80 makes 32 letter-sized copies a minute on plain paper, up to 11 by 17, with exceptional copy quality.
Look into the NP80 at your Canon dealer and get in touch with the age of micronics.
Monday, Lou Grant, the Emmy Award-winning series premieres with an all-new episode. Be sure and watch Ed Asner as Lou Grant, premiering Monday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain.
Well, it looks like we'll have a new quarterback when the Rams get the ball again. Jeff Rutledge warming up on the sideline. This is Mike McCoy going to bring this kickoff back for the Packers to the 20. He's hit by Walt Arnold and also Carl Biker. Struggles across the 25. Wait a minute, the ball loose again. They're motioning. I think the Packers still have it.
That's a ploy. You know, you always teach your special team guys to go downfield, and when they make the tackle, as there is a scramble football, stand up and point that way, because sometimes the official may need some help, and if he does, then you're there to give it to him.
You've always given a lot of help, I've noticed, to those officials.
And I used to teach my players to do it.
You never said much. You were so relaxed on the sideline. Very quiet, composed, under control.
I'm not relaxed up here.
First down at the 26. 51-7. The Rams on top. Dickey up to Turdell Middleton. And Middleton to the 28-yard line. Over there was Pat Thomas. You know, something that's always interested me, John, is they talk about cornerbacks have to be tall. Well, look at these two guys for the Rams. You got Thomas and Perry, who are both 5'9".
You know what they have to be? They have to be good. They have to be quick. They have to be fast. And they have to be great athletes. And it really doesn't have that much to do with their size. If they're good, it doesn't make any difference what their size is.
Hey, look at that.
17-7. Art Whittington just made a big run. 42-yard touchdown.
Oakland losing a tough one in overtime last week to San Diego. Dickey on target to Paul Kaufman. And Kaufman has the first down out to the 39-yard line. Kaufman, one of those free agent finds. 56 catches a year ago. He was the guy that Bart Starr was telling us that just begged Coach John Meyer for a tryout. They went in to look at Gary Spaney, the linebacker for Kansas City. Said, hey, Coach, what about me? And here he is in Green Bay.
And he wouldn't take no for an answer. You know, because now I come down to see someone else. He said, well, let me show you something. Finally said, if he's, you know, that persistent, let's give him a shot.
That was a good move by the Packers. Atkins, he might have gotten the yard, and that's all. Hacksaw Reynolds, Jack Reynolds from the middle linebacking spot, making that tackle. Bring up second down, still virtually 10 yards to go.
You know, we talked about the defensive line, but we didn't talk about those linebackers too much, and they're just an extension of it. You think Jack Reynolds in the middle, Bob Brzezinski, who's had a fine year last year, and then, of course, on the other side, Jim Youngblood. Those three linebackers, along with the four linemen, they work very well as a unit.
Hey, this Ram team has been tough on the Packers. They won 8 of the last 9. Today, 51-7 lead. Kaufman comes in motion. Dickey with a blitz. Oh, he just disappeared that time. He had no chance whatsoever. Nolan Cromwell blitzing from that safety spot.
You know, we'll see it again. Again, Ray Malavasi loves to blitz. He always did. You see, not only does he have the blitz and the safety coming, he had a stunt in the line. Cody Jones came across where the two tackles crossed, and they didn't pick up Cody Jones.
At the 35, that'll bring up now third down, 14 yards to go. San Diego leading Denver, and the Chargers going to move out to a 3-0 record. I thought they might have a tough time after that emotional win over Oakland last week. We have a new center now for the Packers. Mike Norman, the second-year man from Kansas, is in there. This is Turdell Middleton. Middleton a couple of years ago, a 1,000-yard gainer for the Packers. Bringing it out to the 41. Johnny Johnson with a tackle, and it's fourth down.
You know, Nolan Cromwell missed that tackle. They had their 5 defensive backs in. When they go to that, Cromwell is really the middle linebacker, and he was disgusted with himself. He hit his fist into the dirt, you know, and I think that is a real sign of a competitor. Here they have 51-7, and the guy still feels concerned when anything goes wrong.
11, should say 10 men up on that line as they're going to put a return on. They did not rush Beverly, who continues to just really pace the football. Beautiful kick, and that's going to go out of bounds at around the 5-yard line. Beverly averaging over 48 yards a kick, and that time he placed it on the 6-yard line. And you see Jeff Rutledge, he'll be taking over at quarterback. 54-yard kick that time by Beverly.
You take 1,000 hearts up here with you. Make them skip a beat. Then take them back down to Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer.
When it's time to relax,
Miller High Life.
one beer stands clear. If you've got time, we've got the beer.
Just imagine if everyone drove a car like the Honda Civic DX, there'd be more room on the freeways. There'd be more space to park. And we'd probably all use less gas. The Honda Civic DX. It could make life a lot simpler.
Honda, we make it simple.
Los Angeles Ram cheerleaders. And John, I know you noticed this, but they have new cheerleading uniforms this year.
I don't even watch that.
Oh, come on now. Silicoach from the 6-yard line after that fine kick by Beverly. Rutley knocked to Gerald Thomas. Nothing. Good reaction that time by Green Bay, in particular John Anderson. Here is Rutledge. He's 6'2", a 202-pounder out of Alabama. He did start one game last year. That was against the Chicago Bears when they had injuries to both Ferragamo and Hayden. 9th-round draft pick. Saw action in 3 games totally in 1980. Hayden, by the way, is not going to be back for another 3 or 4 weeks. So they signed Bob Lee this week also. So they have Lee, Rutledge, and Ferragamo on the active list. Hayden is up in the press box. Rutledge coming up to Gooman. And Gooman out to the 11, possibly the 12-yard line. Well, that'll bring up a 3rd down.
I'm sure Hayden would love to be down on the field now at this day and see what's been going on down there.
One thing about it, when you're winning, everybody wants to be part of it, right?
Right. I think one thing to do here is to really press by the Packer defense. They ought to go blitz and go all out. They have a new quarterback, and it's a chance maybe to get some field position and make something happen.
3rd down, 4. A little delay that time to Thomas, and Douglas has it. So that'll bring up 4th down. Los Angeles to kick the football. We have 2:44 remaining in this 3rd quarter. You just joined us. The Rams with a 51-7 lead, scoring 37 of those points in the 2nd quarter. 5 interceptions on the day. Mark Lee will go back for this punt from number 3, Frank Correll. Look at that average of 25.5. How can that be with a punt of 51 yards?
He had the first one blocked.
That's right.
And that goes against his average.
And he will be kicking from the end zone. Good snap. And a beautiful kick. Lee back to the 35. He's got a block. Finessed his hood. But it's not going to spring him loose. 52-yard kick. Tell you what, Correll is kicking the ball as well as he's ever kicked it. Last year he was not the Rams punter. He was just the place kicker. They decided to go with him in the punting department. He hasn't punted since college, but he hasn't forgotten how.
He may want to keep that left leg hurt all the time. He was telling me yesterday that he still doesn't feel comfortable doing both, but he says in 2 or 3 weeks that he thinks he'll have this thing figured out and he'll feel comfortable in both.
However, the injury could slow him down.
Yes,
right?
it could.
From the 36, 1st down. Harlan Hucklebee's in the backfield now, along with Gary Ellis. That's Kaufman in motion. Dickey to throw. Dickey shaking off that back spasm pretty well. Breaks loose somehow, got away, and brings it up to the 35. Phil Murphy hit him in the backfield. He spun away from him, and then Reggie Doss dropped him at the 35. He's back to the original line of scrimmage.
He's really having a tough time moving here. And one of the people that really matured as a result of those 4 players being out is Reggie Doss. And they think that he's going to be the next top defensive lineman for the Los Angeles Rams. That's a great athletic move. You see him stretch out on that?
Alaska, Wisconsin. All right.
Did you live close to there?
No, but I know where that is. From the 35-yard line. We had a lot of players from Oakland from the Wisconsin area. Manasak, Casper. That pass intended for Lofton at the 45-yard line, and he had something on that one. Pat Thomas defending on the play. Who'd you have? You had Manasak from Crivets.
From Crivets. Jim Otto from Wausau. Casper was from Chilton.
Yeah.
Chilton.
So you had a Wisconsin flavor to that football team.
Wisconsin was very good to me.
And you were not too good to them. I remember a couple of games, and I remember again that Jack Tatum play that broke George Halas's record.
Right, yeah, that was an option down in the goal line that Jack picked up and ran all the way the other way.
That was when the muff rule came into play. Remember that game?
A lot of rules come into play after we did.
That's right. 3rd down, 10 yards to go. Dickey to Lofton, and Lofton has it. A nice catch. A flag on the play. That's very close to the 1st down. Pat Thomas defending. That was a heck of a catch by Lofton. He had Thomas all over him. I don't know what the flag's all about.
It wasn't something that happened before the throw. It looked like the flag was thrown after the completion.
Well, we'll find out.
Interference, number 27, defense, decline. First out.
So they had enough for the first down on the catch, so they refuse a penalty. Let's look at it again. This again
that
shows
was a late
hands.
flag because he caught the ball and then it was thrown down. As we see it here again, he can't touch the man before the ball gets there, but that looked pretty close.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. They refuse the penalty at the 48-yard line, first down. But again, Lofton showing excellent hands that time. Larry McCarron has come back into center, replacing Wellman. First down for Dickey. He rifles another shot. This is Andre Thompson, and he has it at the 45. Boy, you could see Thomas laying in wait for that. He saw the goal line on that play, didn't he?
He's waiting, and Pat Thomas is someone that you don't throw an awful lot of those out there on him, because you may get one, you may get two, but if you try it a third time, it'll go the other way.
Let's check that Dallas-Tampa Bay game. Look at that, the Cowboys. That's a lot of points to score against the Buccaneers.
Right, everyone thought that would be a real defensive struggle.
See Oakland now leading Washington 17-14. Joe Theismann just scored on a 4-yard run. Second down, 3 yards to go. In motion, Andre Thompson. Dickey kind of cranking it up a little bit. That one's broken up by the on-rushing lineman. Big number 95, Phil Murphy. They really like him. Look how big he is. He's out of South Carolina State, and he was the guy, I believe, that batted that ball down.
Don Klosterman was telling me about him. He says that he's another one that's really coming, and they think that, you know, he's so big and strong. Of course, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's learning. And again, when you're that big and you can just get your hand up in front of a quarterback, that's like throwing out of a tunnel.
They had, what, 15 picks in the early rounds this year in the draft. They had 3 number 3 picks, and one of them was Murphy, third choice in the 3rd round. And they like him. Dickey is buried. Reggie Doss over the back. That's 4 sacks in the game now. This team last year had 52, which led the NFC. They had 4 coming into this game, so in one game they've matched the output of their previous 2 games. Dickey getting up a little slow on that play.
You know, sometimes when you have players hold out, as the Rams did, Jack Youngblood really didn't come to training camp. Sometimes that gives other players a chance for exposure, and they come along. I know when we had the players strike, that we had a lot of players come in and come on as a result of that. And Reggie Doss is doing that for the Rams.
Here's Beverly, who hits the bird. This time hitting it very high. Irvin calling for the fair catch. He's going to let it hit, though, and they have another excellent kick at the 5.5-yard line, a 45-yarder. And David Beverly has put on a clinic here today. He has kicked the ball as well as anybody's ever going to kick it. He's done it all.
He's one bright spot for the Green Bay Packers today.
And you can see that he kind of enjoys this warm weather. You want to get your averages up early in the year, because when it gets cold, that football doesn't go as far, does it?
No, and they all think about that too. They know more about weather than weathermen on television. They know wind and rain and snow and everything.
Some weathermen on television I don't think know that much about weather, but we won't get into that. That's a 49.8 average now for Beverly in the game. Thomas may have gotten a yard, and that's all. Michael Hunt over there as you look at Rutledge. Rutledge had quite a career at Alabama. He broke Joe Namath's record for touchdown passes. He threw 30 of them. And anybody that plays under the Bear, pretty good football player.
I had a couple of them. I had Kenny Stabler, of course, and then I had George Blanda. But both of those players have played under the Bear.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, Los Angeles 51, Green Bay 7. We now pause for a word from your local station.
It's breathtaking, it's dazzling, it's unbelievable. It's special effects The Empire Strikes Back with host Mark Hamill, Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
Well, Coach, 15 minutes left to go, and it's been a Los Angeles day thus far.
It sure has, and there's one thing that the Packers should do now, again, is play this 4th quarter like it's the 1st quarter. They have good field position here. If they just go after him, blitz him, they have a new quarterback, make something happen down here, and see if you can get one.
You notice you never use your arms when you talk?
You can't talk without them.
We start now this 4th quarter, and the Rams are just kind of pick up where they left off. Mike Gooman out of Penn State running the ball. Rams getting a chance now to look at everybody on that 45-man roster, including Rutledge. They have Thomas in the backfield. You see Arnold, number 84, Gooman, 44. France is still in the front. As Bart and Zeke talk things over, and probably would like to have a few of those plays back, in particular those long interceptions, 99 and 83 yards.
You know, it's tough for a coach. We talked about those long yardage, 3rd and 20, but when you're down 51-7, that's a tough one to come up with any great ideas.
Any tricky plays, right? Here's Gooman again. Gooman out close to the first down. He had 3rd and a little more than a yard to go, and he got the first down. This is a good situation for Rutledge. He couldn't be in a better situation. Getting to play, get some game experience. They like this young man, and with Hayden out, you don't know when he's going to get back. You've got to look at Rutledge and please see who, in fact, would back up Ferragamo.
Right, and it's always nice to have a game like this where you can get some of your backup players in. Not only the quarterback, but offensive linemen are important also.
On a first down, Rutledge going on first down. That's been the story all day, and here comes a reception. It's Jeff Moore, a rookie out of Tennessee, who latched onto that one. A 26-yard pickup, a first down to the 41. And Moore, who was out all of last year with an injury, a 3rd-round draft pick in the 79 season.
You know, again, this offensive line of Doug France and Ken Hill, Rich Salt, Dennis Hare, and Jackie Slater, they've given everyone time all day. They started with Vince Ferragamo and now with Jeff Rutledge, and that's where pass patterns start, with the pass protection.
And Radakovich, the offensive line coach, he's quite a character. Here's a get to Gooman. Gooman to the 45, and Gooman turns the corner and close for the first down at the 50. Radakovich, of course, was the offensive line coach for that Pittsburgh team for some time before coming over here.
We had a lot of battles with that group. Dan Radakovich is a character, but he's also a fine offensive line coach.
An update on Bill Troop. David Fox, our producer, says that they have taken him to the hospital just for further observation. Going to be very cautious about his injury that he sustained in the first half. They will be taking some more x-rays. At the 50-yard line, 2nd down, a yard to go. Gooman has 45 yards now on 6 carries. 51-7, Los Angeles. 13 minutes remaining in this game. Rutledge going up top. Down there, Drew Hill. Broken up by Johnny Gray. Drew Hill very close to having 6 points on that one.
Rutledge is feeling his oats now. You know, he had some bad field position the first 2 times he had the ball. He got a few runs going, completed his first pass, and now he wants to really air it out. But again, watch his pass protection. Watch left tackle Doug France. He'll start, his hands will be open, his arms extended. You see that? He keeps the rusher away from him. That's pass protection, and that's a new rule. And look at how they keep that whole line right on the line of scrimmage where the quarterback can step up.
Good job there by our director, Chris Erskine. I think I could play quarterback on that play.
Well, no you can't.
3rd down, a yard to go. And Rutledge is going for all of it. And he's in trouble. That will be an incomplete pass. I'm on 3rd and 1. Why not? Just go up and go after it all. John Anderson that time getting back there.
We may have, well, the Packers lined up in a blitzing situation. They brought everyone that time, and I think that's good. Go after them. If they want to throw it, go after them.
So Corral will come in and kick. There he goes. He played his collegiate football at UCLA. It's a young man who hit his last 6 field goal attempts in the preseason, then hit 3 of 3 coming into today, then booted another one. And all this today happening after an injury he sustained on a kickoff.
The opening kickoff.
That's right. From the 22, he'll kick. And he hit another booming kick. Mark Lee at the 5. And Lee gets away somehow. He has a little running room to the 15, to the 20. And Mark Lee has shown that he was worth that 2nd-round draft pick. He's to the 22, 17-yard return. And old Gimpy here just had a 53-yard kick.
He loves
He's going to start a new trend in punting in the NFL.
At about $4.50 a quart, this is one of the most expensive motor oils in the world. Or is it? If If you drive 25,000 miles a year, the money you save on gas, oil changes, and oil filters alone can add up to $83. Up to $83 by switching from conventional 10W40 motor oil to synthetic Mobil 1. Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas and more.
John Burns joined the Army in March and kept us waiting until October. Kathy Wolf joined the Army in May and kept us waiting all summer. If you're a high school graduate or about to be, you can join the Army now and take up to 12 months to report for duty. That way, if you qualify, we can guarantee you the skill training that makes you happiest. And we think a happy soldier is worth waiting for. This is the Army, a chance to serve your country as you serve yourself. Call this number toll-free.
Next Saturday, go for a spin with the nation's best at the United States Roller Skating Championships. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Well, that average by Corral would be much more impressive if he hadn't had that one block. His last 3 punts are 51, 53, and 53, and all with a bad leg. At the 22, the Packers. Lynn Dickey with time to throw. Ron Cassidy, did he get it? He did. That will be a pass completion at the 50-yard line area. Ron Cassidy with Jeff Delaney defending a 28-yard pass completion. It's Cassidy's second catch of this year.
Again, they have pretty good pass protection on this one, and Dickey is able to step up to throw that ball to the sideline. And that's a tough throw for Lynn Dickey because, again, you see that sideline there, there's no border. There's no way that he can see that sideline. That was done with a real feel.
A lot of credit to Dickey after throwing that 99-yard interception. He's come back with a lot of courage, hasn't he? Throwing the ball with authority. First down at the midfield stripe. Dickey to Lofton, and Lofton has the catch inside the 40, and that'll be another first down. Pat Thomas defending on the play. Boy, Lofton was an outstanding track performer at Stanford. 3-time track All-American, the NCAA long jump champion. Went over 27 feet, and I think he jumped there about 20 to get to the football.
I'll tell you, he's a real threat. You know, I would like to see, of course, his ankle is bothering him today, but I would like to see Lynn Dickey just throw one in the end zone, just air it out.
Look at the Patriots, John, 27-17 now. They're coming back after that loss last week to Atlanta. First down. Dickey, looks like he wants to hit his man on the far side. That would be Gary Ellis, and Ellis just couldn't quite make connections on it. He didn't disguise that very well.
No, he didn't. There was a screen, and again, the whole Ram team read it. The linebackers came off with it, plus the defensive lineman also came off with the screen man. There was really nothing there.
We have a flag on the play, and it's going to be tackling by the face mask against Los Angeles. That'll give them a first down. So the Packers, they'd like to get on this board again. In a long time. They scored back in the second quarter on a 46-yard touchdown pass from Dickey to Ivory. And then we're moving again to move within what they thought were 3 points, only to have that 99-yard interception just completely doing about face in this football game. From the 31, first down. And somebody's moving. Firing across that time was Murphy, that rookie we talked about. Was he drawn across? It looks like he was. It's going to go against the Packers. No? Wait a minute. It's offside against Murphy.
It was against him. Now that's something that even though the score is 51-7, that's something that you still don't want.
Encroachment number 95, defense, still first down.
He's a rookie, and I'm sure that will be gone over with him in this next week, because you remember against Tampa, they had pretty good field position. They jumped off sides, gave him the 5 more yards. Yepremian kicked the field goal, and of course they lost the game. Those are big plays.
Little things make a lot of difference. First and 5 now after that offside. In motion, Andre Thompson, Gary Ellis, and he runs into congestion, but he breaks out of it. Ellis, good second effort to the 21-yard line. He's very close to the first down. Nolan Cromwell bulldogged him down. Ellis, it's 5'11 and a half, a 216-pounder, starting today at fullback. He was a 7th-round draft pick for the Rams, their second 7th-round pick. As I said earlier, the Rams had a whole handful of
They did,
selections.
and and they cut Gary Ellis in the last in the last cut. They liked him, and Green Bay likes him.
Going to set some of that defense for you as the Rams continue to filter people in and out of the lineup. Ellis on depth in a hurry. That's Brooks 90, Fanning 79, Doss 71. Larry Brooks, of course, in on that particular stop. Fanning is battling for his job with Larry Brooks. He took it away last year when Cody Jones was hurt. So they've had a lot of competition on that forward wall.
Well, they have, and Ray Malavasi was telling us yesterday that what they would like to do is play them all. You know, have a rotation where they don't really have just a set four that go the whole game, but bring in Fanning and bring in Doss playing both ends. So I don't think we're just seeing that because the score is 51-7. They had planned to play this way.
Fanning, by the way, is one of those draft picks they got in the John Hadel trade. 3rd and 2, Harlan Huckleby, and he's not going to get it. That's going to bring up 4th. Anytime you look at what Bart Starr had to face, that John Hadel trade seems to really surface when you play this Ram team, as they had number 1 and 2 pick 1 year, a 1 and a 2 and a 3 the second year. And a lot of those picks are right now staring him across the line of scrimmage, in particular Mike Fanning.
You know, that was a great draft for the Rams. They got three players. They had Mike Fanning, they got Doug France in that year, and they also got Dennis Hara.
Not too bad. All pros, all 3.
I told my Allstate agent I can't afford life insurance. Well, John, don't put marbles in the penny wrappers. He told us about one of Allstate's affordable life plans. For a 28-year-old, $50,000 of decreasing term insurance for about $11 a month. These pennies could pay for a couple of months. Well, John...
Well, you put your pennies in my marble jar.
Ask about Allstate Life's affordable life plans. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This ranch doesn't run without horses. And the horses don't run without you. But when you've hammered out a day's work, you meet up with Miller Time.
When it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
One beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Next Saturday, go trackside to the World Team Speedway Championships and rinkside to the U.S. Roller Skating Championships. 4:30 Eastern next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Well, there's your score, 51-7. The Rams on top. They led at halftime, 44-7. They added a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. We've had a scoreless 4th quarter. At the 25-yard line, it's 4th down. The Packers obviously going for it. 4th down, and a good 3, almost 4 yards to go. In motion, Coughlin, Ellis, and Huckleby, the running back. Dickey, the quarterback. Hits his man, Coughlin, and he has a first down at the 15-yard line. Nolan Cromwell runs him out. You know, they talked about this man, Coughlin. They said he's not real fast. He's not too big. All he does is get open, and there was a good indication.
He does get open. I know I did a couple of Green Bay games last year, and it seems like the linebackers would just go the other way when he would come, but he does have that ability. You know, and he's a tough guy too, and he's a good blocker.
He broke a record last year for the Packers. Catch for total catches for a season of 37 that Ron Kramer had held for so long, and he caught 56 of them. Number 15, first down. Dickey to Huckleby. Huckleby out of Michigan. He was drafted a year ago by the New Orleans Saints and had a pretty good preseason. Made this football team. So that's going to bring up 2nd down 10. Dickey's seemingly shaking off that back spasm pretty well. There was some real concern that they would not be able to come back with him, and we were told that if Dickey and, of course, now Troop could not play today, they'd bring in James Lofton at quarterback.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? One thing, you would know the patterns.
At least the one end of where you would. 2nd down 10. Dickey. Hits Lofton. Checked that. Andre Thompson. And Thompson to the 2-yard line. Andre Thompson running to an open spot when he saw that Dickey was in trouble. And that'll be a 1st and goal now for Green Bay.
I'll tell you one thing that Lynn Dickey won't do down here. This time he won't throw the ball across the field. You see, he started to scramble. And then he worked outside, and then he threw to the side that he was scrambling to. As we see the defense, see, it was a zone. Thompson got by the first guy, worked into the safety, and then slid between the two of them. That was a good adjustment by Andre Thompson.
Former running back out of East Texas State. Man who last year caught 25 passes, had 5 coming into this game. First and goal now at the 2-yard line. Arlen Huckabee. Boy, he tries to just somehow squirm across, but he's going to be short. That'll bring up second and goal there. He tried to catapult over, but in the midair, they decided that's as far as you go.
It'll be interesting to watch here. The Rams put in 6 defensive linemen. Now that's a bunch of beef down there in the goal line, and then they have Reynolds right behind to hit anything that jumps over. Very difficult to get movement against all those guys.
Mike Waldman back in at center. Second and goal at about the 1-foot line. Dickey and flipping at Thomas Huckabee. Did he get in? He's in for the touchdown. A late call by the linesman. Huckabee almost fell down and almost didn't get to that line, and then got in for 6 points.
And the fans boo. As we see it again here, they did get a little movement. The Leotis Harris, Greg Cook got a little movement on that right side, and then Huckabee was able to get in and get just the momentum that he needed to get across. As we watch it again, you see the movement right here, the right guard and the right tackle, and then that gave him a little hole right there that he could slip through.
Bodies flying everywhere.
Yeah, did you see Jack Reynolds come flying over the top?
He meant business on that play. Marco for the point after, Beverly to hold at the 8:37 mark of this 4th quarter. Chester's kick is up, and we have a flag. The kick was good, but a flag on the play. This may be assessed on the kickoff.
Men on the field, defense, the point is good, 5-yard penalties on the kickoff.
And that's what happened.
They didn't need 12, did they? They've been doing pretty well all day with 11. I thought they'd sneak one more in.
There goes another gas station. Are they ever going to stop?
The Corolla Tercel, Toyota's lowest priced car, gets such good gas mileage that for some, it could be a problem.
I got to stop at a gas station. Why, we haven't had to stop for gas in hours. We haven't stopped for anything. Do you know why I bought this front-wheel drive Toyota? Allow gas to the gas mileage. I'll stop, but I don't have to because this is Toyota's highest mileage car. And Lester, oh, what a feeling. High mileage. Toyota.
Some guys never learn. They're still taking it on the chin. Gotcha. Norelco offers the Norelco rotary razor. Not 1 or 2 blades, but 36 blades inside 3 adjustable floating heads and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave without a nick or cut. So say hello to the Norelco rotary razor and say goodbye to Gotcha.
With John Madden, I'm Gary Bender. We have 8.5 minutes left in this game. The Packers scoring their second touchdown of the afternoon, trailing 51-14. Chester Marcole will kick off as Drew Hill back deep for the Rams at the 5-yard line. And he just didn't hit that one at all. Ivor Sully fumbles the ball, and finally falling on it is Drew Hill, who came all the way up from the 5-yard line. The Packers have recovered it. I thought Hill had it, but instead, number 21, Mike Jolly got it.
It looked like he bobbled it and then got it caught in his legs, and he never did get control of the ball. You see it's down there, it's dropped, and then as he goes to pick it up, he didn't get control. It hit his knee and bounced back out.
John, as a coach, did you spend a lot of time falling on fumbles, practicing that? Because it's amazing to me how many times a guy thinks he has that ball and it gets away.
We used to always practice that. You know, we used to try and have fun with it, but just on learning how to fall on the ball, and even more important, when to fall on it. Sometimes they try and pick it up, especially those big linemen. We used to just fall on it, get it, then we'll have it.
So the fumble recovery sets it up at the 17. Dickey on first down. Kaufman. Boy, that's a fine catch. Kaufman again showing that he is a quality tight end. Jeff Delaney and Nolan Cromwell converge on him. First and goal now at the 3-yard line. And I'll say one thing for Green Bay. They've been a very gritty football team, even though it's been a long afternoon.
They have. They really don't have any alternatives, but they've been much better when they play and throw on first down. And I think they do have some players to do it with, you know, by throwing to Kaufman as a possession receiver, to Eddie Lee Ivory, to Steve Atkins. They can control the ball that way with good mixture.
Boy, I tell you, there's a lot of scoring in the league this year, John. I got to believe a lot of teams are throwing on first down. Here is Dickey, off to Huckabee. He'll take it in. No, he did not get there. Huckabee just short of that pylon. Good reaction that time by Ivory Sully. And Sully showed excellent speed. Second-year man from Delaware.
He should have turned it up. He tried to outrun Sully to the pylon, and he couldn't do it. If he would have taken the ball right now and turned back in and go over the goal line and get his shoulder square so that he could have pushed it in with power.
So instead of getting in, they're at the 1-foot line. But Dickey much more effective now as he's starting to open it up. Ellis, Huckabee the running backs. He's 11 of 18 now for 158 yards. Over the top, Gary Ellis. And Ellis just didn't go anywhere. They lost on that play.
But again, that whole Ram goal line defense is built to get the 6 defensive linemen in there, to go down in the ground, you know, to stay low, as we'll see them. Now watch the linemen here, watch them as a ball snap. They stay low. And then the linebackers, the 2 linebackers, there's Jack Reynolds right there, come for the jump over the top.
Almost disappear in the dust.
That was a perfect defensive goal line play.
They lost on that play. It's third down goal at about the 1. That big play by Sully may yet keep him out of there for the touchdown. This time, Huckabee trying to take it in, and it's 4th and goal.
What they're trying to do, they're trying to dive over, and again, what the Rams do, in addition to 6 linemen down, is they put in 2 linebackers, and they have their regular middle linebacker, Jack Reynolds, on one side, and they have number 55, Carl Eklund, on the other side. You see Reynolds hit as the ball carrier jumps, Reynolds jumps, and they have a collision right in the middle.
Well, I tell you, Huckabee's going to have a headache after this game. Here we go, 4th and goal at about the half-yard line. See if they go straight at him again. Gary Ellis, he stays on his feet for the touchdown. Ellis that time showing excellent balance. It looked like he wasn't going to take it in. And so on 4th and goal, the Packers now with back-to-back touchdowns have cut it to 51-20.
That was, you know, this is good balance. Watch right here. He starts to trip as he gets hit. He just uses that hit to take him to the outside. If we can see right at the end here, he looks like he gives a little motion to the Ram bench as if to say, you shouldn't have cut me, see?
Here's Chester Marcole now wearing glasses. This young man has really turned his life around. He's kicked very well. Had some personal problems earlier, and he puts this one up, and he's got it. 51-21, so you kind of salve a few wounds here with a couple of touchdowns as Chester Marcole makes it 21 for Green Bay.
George worked overtime to finish this suit for my wedding.
He needs the deodorant that works overtime.
Bob worked overtime learning how to skate. He needs the deodorant that works overtime.
Old Spice Stick deodorant works 24 hours. Only Old Spice Stick gives you both 24-hour protection from odor plus that famous Old Spice scent.
Bucky's been working overtime to get ready for the game.
Good thing my Old Spice Stick deodorant works overtime, too.
Old Spice Stick, the deodorant that works overtime.
Taste Sheridan. Taste Sheridan. Come to a Sheridan.
I love the taste of Sheridan's.
You're gonna love every inch of the place. We've got taste.
Sheridan, you've got taste.
We've got style.
For a taste of Sheridan worldwide, call 800-325-3535.
We've got taste.
Well, you look around, this crowd near capacity of 69 starting to go away.
They still have They still have a chance to get to Disneyland before dark.
Which is close by. Chester kicks one again. Very peculiar. What are they trying? John, I don't know. Did he hurt himself kicking off there? What's happened on these kickoffs?
I don't think. You know, the first two, he looked like he kicked it too low and into the tee. You know, the teams can't use their own tee anymore. The officials bring them, and then they can have the 1-inch tee or the 2-inch tee or whatever choice that they make. So he looks like he's having trouble with the tee.
Well, Dallas now with a 28-17 lead. That's a big win for Dallas if they hang on after really getting blasted last week by Denver. In this game, Los Angeles has rushed for 158 yards. Green Bay was trying to establish a running game today. Up behind, and they have only 50 yards for the day. Eddie Hill. Hill to the 38. Terry Jones, 63, out of Alabama. The nose tackle making the stop. It's a man that's been a little inconsistent at that nose tackle spot. We have another score? We sure do. New England and Seattle. I figured that'd be high scoring, and look at it, 30-24. There's Terry Jones, another one of Bear Bryant's protégés. Wiley Turner now and Mark Lee are playing the cornerbacks for Green Bay. Second down, 9. Rutledge. And that ball intended for Walt Arnold, the tight end. Pretty good coverage that time by the Packers. Mike Jolly. So Jolly, the man from Michigan, Wiley Turner, and Mark Lee all in there. They said that Jolly is one of those guys that seems to always get to the football. He's a big, tall, lanky guy, 6'3", 185. They want to get him on the weights in the offseason.
And then again, they have Mark Lee in there. I'm sure that this is the first time that he's been able to play corner, but I really feel that he'll be one of the bright spots in the Packer defense for many years.
Did a good job returning some kickoffs, too. Third down and 9 for Rutledge and company. 5.5 minutes left in the game. Rutledge, Lee almost had it. And then really being belted was Drew Hill by Wiley Turner.
You know, the shame about that play, we're just talking about Mark Lee, and I'm sure he just pulled his hamstring again on that play.
Oh, no, you're kidding.
And that's something. Once they get those things, they're very difficult. And he had good coverage. He started to make a burst, and you could just see his right leg. He pulled that hamstring.
He's going
again.
off on the sideline, number 22, and they're looking him over. Boy, those hamstrings, once you get them, they just keep coming back, don't they?
The only thing you can do is rest a hamstring.
Fourth down. Kick the ball, Corral. Ron Cassidy now back for Green Bay. It's a low kick. Cassidy gets by. No, he does not get by. He's down at the 19. Had he gotten by that first man, now we got a fight going on. Cassidy along with Joe Harris.
Joe Harris didn't play the whistle. I don't know if he didn't hear it, but the ball was whistled down and dead, and Joe Harris just kept tackling.
We have a man, Willie Miller, shaken up. He was the man first down on that punt, and he made the tackle. Had Cassidy gotten by Miller, you had a feeling he had a long way to run, but Miller's shaken up. Let's watch it again.
We'll see what happened here as he just starts to go. And again, once they get down, you see he's down now, and then the official blew the whistle there. We see the other players stop, but Joe Harris didn't stop. Plus, he grabbed a face mask.
We have a referee, I should say a field judge hurt. Dick Dolak is shaken up on this play. Second game this year that I've done that we've had an official hurt. So they're looking him over now.
Must have jumped in to try and break up the fight. You know, that's always dangerous as an official or as a coach, because all the other people that are involved in the fight all have equipment on, and you don't have anything. You don't have much of a chance.
Dick Jorgensen will explain the penalty.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, first down.
Did not indicate who the individual is, but it is a first down at the 34 for Green Bay. Tell you, those officials, I'm surprised they don't get hit more often. The way people move out there, and they're so vulnerable.
Dick Dolak looks okay. He just had a drink of water, and he's back. It is especially the umpires. You know, the umpires, they're the ones that line up right behind the defensive line, and they get caught in the middle of a lot of action, especially short yardage and goal line.
From the 34, a first down. 5:20 left in this game. 51-21. The Rams on top. Kaufman, who's had a good day, in motion. Dickey. And intended for Andre Thompson at the 48-yard line. Jeff Delaney over there, also covering very quickly on the play.
You know, sometimes you wonder when the score is 51-21 why they keep doing these things, and I think it's intelligent to do that. They need something plus out of this game, something that they can look towards and say, now look, here's what we can do if we do it the right way.
Well, I think one thing they could say is that Dickey has really acquitted himself pretty well here in this fourth quarter of play, moving the football. Kaufman in motion again. Second down and 10 from the 34. Gary Ellis. Heckern defending on the play. Ellis couldn't quite hang on. Carl Eckern in there now, number 55. He's in place of Hacksaw Reynolds. He's a fourth-year man from San Jose State who hurt his knee last year and missed the entire 79 season. Boy, this Ram team, look at the talent they have.
They're playing their three-man line now, Gary, and they have both Hacksaw Reynolds and Carl Eckern in there playing the middle. Two good tacklers.
Reggie Dosh, you're looking at him, number 71 out of Hampton Institute. First player ever drafted out of that school, and flags everywhere on this play.
There's the old deal. I know the score is 51-21, but that would still upset me. Anytime that the nose man, you line up over the ball, and you have to be able to watch the ball, see on defense, and how he can jump off sides. That was Mike Fanning. I'll never know.
Encroachment, defense, still third down.
Well, he's got his head down. I'm sure he realizes that in the films, they might show that to him a couple of times.
He's probably saying the same thing. How can I line up and have the ball right in front of me and leave before the ball does?
And when the films come up then on Monday, what do you say to a guy like that? Just what you said now?
No excuse. Right, I do, yeah.
There's Dickey back. Intended for Harlan Huckleby. Defending on the play was Leroy Irvin, who's in there now. And that'll bring up fourth down. I guess sometimes when you watch those films, it's just as effective to just keep showing it and not say anything, huh? They get the point in a hurry.
Well, one thing, the difference between a game film and a television shot that we have here is all 22 players are in the picture at all times. So that's when they say the eye in the sky, you can't escape the eye in the sky.
Only thing is, I can see why all coaches have bad eyes. I've watched those coaches' films with you, and you got to get right up against the screen to see those guys. Completely blind. What you were saying about the officials. Here's Irvin at the 11-yard line. And getting over there quickly, the Packers. In particular was Casey Merrill and Jim Gano, a 49-yard kick. And Beverly can return back to Green Bay and be given a job well done. Good coverage that time by the special teams of Green Bay. However, there is a flag on the play.
Leroy Irvin will learn one thing, that when you do catch that ball with the tackling and coverage in National Football League, you have to get it going. You can't run parallel.
East-west.
Right, you have to get it going up the field because they're going to get there awfully quick and get you.
Team on the run back at the distance to the goal. First down.
The guy that did that was Jeff Moore, the young man from Tennessee, a linebacker, or I should say wide receiver. How about this? Seattle taking the lead, 31-30. Jim Zorn, a 21-yard touchdown pass to Sam McCollum. With Zorn in there, you're never safe, are you?
And Grogan on the other side.
First down, Eddie Hill. Hill will bring it out to the 10-yard line. He'll be 5 yards short of the first down. Casey Merrill now in there making the tackle. Well, the Packers will face Dallas next week, so they're getting right out of the fire into the frying pan, or maybe it's the other way around, but it's just not going to get any easier for them. Here they go from one of the talented teams in the NFC to a team that's right behind them in talent.
That's right, and I'm sure that they're thinking of that right now, and they would like to again get something. You know, they had good special teams coverage. They had a few drives going in the second half. They want to find some plus things on offense, defense, and special teams that they can take into next week's game.
Rutledge giving out to Hill again, and Hill runs into a lot of congestion. That'll bring up third down. And you see the time remaining, 4:10. Ed O'Neill making the tackle. Well, the Packers with that Miraculous win against Chicago, then running into that tough Detroit team who's 3-0 after winning today. Now against Los Angeles. John, I've always been curious. A lot of coaches always hated to come out on the West Coast as you look at Bob Lee to play. They felt just different. Hard to keep the players from being distracted, the change in climate, all the different things.
Well, especially in Southern California, you know, they felt that Hollywood influence and the movies that their players would get into that, the beaches and all that. I don't know that they ever felt that way in Northern California, at least in Oakland. They used to not like to come there for some different reasons. Rats in the locker room.
Rats in the locker room? You're kidding.
We were talking about that. We used to have rats in our locker room, in a visiting team locker room, and they were going to exterminate them one day, and I said, heck no, feed them.
I thought maybe never mind, I won't do that. Here's Corral to kick. They had some pretty good football teams in Oakland, too, which caused some long Sunday afternoons.
We had a tough game with Green Bay there the last time we played them there. In fact, that was Lynn Dickey's best day as a Packer, was against the Oakland Raiders in Oakland.
Corral kicking to Ron Cassidy. Cassidy to the 45, 50, and Cassidy will make it to the Los Angeles 45-yard line. 48-yard kick by Corral, 15-yard return with 2.5 minutes left. Rats in the locker room in Oakland? That may be a story I've never heard.
Well, it was down below, you know. I mean, it was kind of a catacomb effect in the Coliseum, and there's a lot of moisture and dampness in there. And so they were going to exterminate him. I said, no, give him a little cheese and crackers or whatever rats eat. And then I would go before the game and I'd tell the other coach, you know, now don't worry, there's some rats in here. We're trying to get rid of them, but if you see one, don't worry.
From the 46, the Packers with the football. Up and a busy man in motion again. Play action, and Dickey's going under by Brzezinski. It's one of those lookout passes. Didn't even have time to look to the other side.
Again, the man who was supposed to block Brzezinski was the man who was going to catch the screen. What you try and do is get him to bump and to block, and then let Brzezinski go and just throw the ball over his head. He didn't stop Brzezinski at all on that play.
John, you're talking about, you know, intimidation. Each team has a certain personality, don't they?
That's right, especially the successful teams. You know, I mean, they have something that they can hang on to each game, something that's theirs.
The Packers, their great days, they had that ability to intimidate you. There's a pass completion to Lofton as Urban made the stop. Now, like today, you look at Pittsburgh, they have the reputation of being a very physical team. Dallas may be more of a finesse team. Different ways of being successful, but a definite personality.
And they have something. They have the same thing going all the time, and it's something that's carried over from year to year. The Rams have it. You know, the Rams have it. They always have, every year they have a quarterback a problem. I mean, they have big linemen. They have good speed. And they always have young people that are coming into their organization.
2-minute warning is here. 51-21. The Rams with this commanding lead.
We looked at Celica, Accord, and Scirocco. But when we looked at this new Mazda 626, that's all it took.
Just one look. That's all it took. Yeah, just one look. That's all it took.
We really like the way this Mazda 626 performs, not to mention its great mileage. All at a price that makes it really worth looking at.
Yeah, the more you look, the more you like.
Now comes Miller time. The flag is dropped, the race is a memory. And now you're coasting into the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, if you got the time, we got the beer. If you got the time.
Frank Corral looking on. He had a very successful day despite an injury. Ball at the 35-yard line as the Packers, who scored back-to-back touchdowns to kind of ease some of that pain today, trailing 51-21.
I'd like to see him. Yeah. I'd like to see him come out and just throw 3 into the end zone right now. 3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
All right, let's see what they do. Here's Coughlin moving to the bottom of your screen. Well, they're going to try a pass. Gary Ellis is going to try to somehow get something out of it, and he does. Exit run to the 30, and Ellis to the 28-yard line. Very fine effort by Gary Ellis. Nolan Cromwell over there to make the stop. I want to thank our statistician, Dennis Mnuchin, our spotter, Bob Brennan, and man who's been keeping track of all the scores for us here, and there's been a lot of them back east, Ozzie Lang. It's going to bring up a second down and still 4 yards to go. Going to have a timeout. Getting back to that team personality as you look at this beautiful stadium here. Our executive producer in New York, Charles Milton III. Our producer is David Fawkes from England. Our director is Chris Erskine. Ray Ball, our associate producer, and Brooks Graham, who got all this equipment working and very successfully, I might add, today. Thank you, gentlemen, for your help.
They've done a fine job.
Yes, they have.
We had some great shots today.
I think a few people have left this ballpark, don't you?
Well, they're over at Disneyland. They have about 3 or 4 more hours of daylight. They can ride the monorail and the other rides that they have over there. You know, I've never been to Disneyland.
I tell you what, if we have another game out here, we'll go, all right? Here's Gary Ellis. Ellis doing another good job of running. I like this guy. He's to the 20-yard line for the first down.
I'll tell you when, Ray Malavasi is upset now because he doesn't like his team not to tackle well. And Gary Ellis, as we see here, has done a great job of running those last 2 plays. But the Rams are not tackling right now. And no matter whenever you play 60 minutes, you have to block and you have to tackle.
He doesn't like a former player of his doing that, I don't think. Here's Dickey. Nobody there. Andre Thompson made a move in, and the ball was thrown deep. Pat Thomas, the closest to the football. And Dickey's upset about something.
I think he felt that there was a bump there in the end zone. Again, the rule, once they go beyond the first 5 yards, they cannot be bumped. Nor can they be bumped or touched when the ball is in the air. And it looked like there was a little bumping down there in the end zone. And I think Lynn Dickey felt that he should have had a penalty.
No, we're talking about that team personality. Bart Starr, he had the personality, John, of throwing on 3rd and 1. Sometimes as a coach, it's awfully hard to make your playing personality come across as a coach.
Well, of course, he had a lot of people with him. They had a great offensive line in those days. They had fine defense. They were a fine all-around team.
There's Dickey running for his life. Mike Fanning all the way back to the 49-yard line, and that hurt. He hit hard as Fanning, all 250-some pounds, landed on top of him. That'll be a 29-yard loss.
This is a long day for Lynn Dickey. Of course, he had that interception that he threw across the field. He had the injury, the back spasm, and now he's coming in, and he's been rushed all day.
John, I want to ask you this question. You know, a lot of great players just haven't been great coaches through the years, and there's always been that debate. Is it hard sometime for a guy that had a lot of success on the field to impart that to the football team?
I think so. I always felt the same way with teachers. I felt the best teachers were the C students because they understand C students. Nothing came easy for them. They had to fight everything. And I think the same thing is true of coaches. When you get the coach who really didn't have a lot of ability, who had to fight and scrape and scratch for everything that he got, they always seem to understand those players that have a difficult time. And of course, anyone can understand the great players and the great students.
You just don't mess with them, right? You just let them do their thing?
Just let them go. Hope you have a lot of them around you.
Well, you can see the time is ticking away here. Coming up next will be Tampa Bay at Dallas. Dallas, last check, leading that game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The final score here, the Green Bay Packers going down to defeat 51-21 as Bart Starr's team now 1-3. They'll return home to Milwaukee County Stadium to meet Dallas. Ray Malavasi's team will go to the East Coast to meet the New York Giants. And for John Madden, this is Gary Bender. Let's now join that Tampa Bay-Dallas game.
Harvey Martin looked for a minute like he had some pressure on him. Kevin House, the intended receiver.
Look around, look around. I hear footsteps and there's someone near. Are you kidding? Poor Doug Williams must wonder, what is this? Maybe we'll get it all out of our system this